is my favorite beat. Not really, but for this one. And here we go. You're watching the Lakers Fast Break. I'm your host, Joe Soro, with my main man, Johnny C. How about that one? Not JC, Johnny C.
I like that.
Johnny Appleseed.
Mm.
And my man, Mark
Yo,
from
boys.
Australia. It's the first time I've been doing a show with Mark, face-to-face, on the Lakers Fast Break. So not all is lost tonight, folks. Not all is lost. We got the crew here.
Sure?
Yes, Jay, we suck. Hey, Sports Baby, welcome from Aussie as well.
We're cooked. We're cooked, boys.
Okay, let's get to the bad news first. Let's discuss. So for those of who couldn't make the game all the way or need a refresher course here, the Lakers played the Pheonix Suns in Phoenix tonight. Unfortunately, got shellacked 127 to 100. It was pretty competitive through the first half, and then they died in the third. Where have you heard that before, John? Have you heard that before?
Last game.
You heard that last, right? Mark, you heard that?
Yeah.
You heard that last game? You're in the future, so you probably saw this happening, like you said, right?
I did. I told you that.
So, it was bad. For those of you who didn't watch, Mark, I know you missed the second half.
Yeah.
It was worse than the score. They looked like, and I've been using the Wizard of Oz analogies, comparisons, however that's supposed to be said. And what we have here, usually the character of the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man without the heart, the brain, which one is it? Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man didn't have the heart, right?
Yeah,
right. I thought I was going nuts here for a second. So now, usually one or the other for people. The Lakers have both. They don't have heart, and they're cowards. I mean, are we being too harsh, though? John,
No, we're not.
Are we being too harsh?
No, we're not.
Okay, so we're not being harsh. Let's roll with that for a minute, and then I'll let you guys do your thing. So we're not being harsh. We're not looking at it from a talent standpoint. So at what point did this thing come off its rails? Was it already destined to go this way? Now, we've said, Gerald and I have said, in a nice way, without actually going out with it, that we got to be careful, because we were constantly telling everyone what this thing was. And of course, it came out of the gates looking pretty good, and everybody got excited, and everyone was happy, and everyone was like, oh my God, we're a 1 seed, we're a 2 seed, we're a 4 seed, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be eating olives for the next year, right? That's what they said. And again, for those who don't know what I'm talking about with the olives, so we like to use a lot of comparisons and analogies on this, place. I used olives as eating crow. I cannot stand black olives. It makes me want to die. I can't even pick black olives off pizza. Like, there's no olives on there. I picked it out, right? I can still, the essence is still there, and I can't eat it. So for a while there, it looked like I was going to eat a jar of black olives with the pits in it too, because that makes it even worse. Well, it's looking like the black olives are slowly being dragged away from the table. And tonight was not the beginning of the end, but it might be coming. And when I say beginning of the end, the Lakers right now have lost 3 in a row. One game they should have won, one game that we understood why they lost, and then, of course, this game, the disappointing part is they've been playing very well against Phoenix, even in Phoenix. Even though they lost earlier in the year or earlier in the month or so against Phoenix, in Phoenix, they still were very competitive. This one was an all-out shellacking. This is back-to-back nights where they allowed 127 points to their opponent. They got bounced by 27 tonight and by 25 last night. I'm sorry, a few nights ago. And they had time here, guys. They had time to marinate on this, so marinate on the Denver game a little bit and see what's up. But what happened? What happened? We saw the exact same result. And the reason why you saw the same exact result, folks, is because this is who they are. And John, I'm going to let you go first. I have a question for you.
Okay, talk to me.
I don't like to live in the past much. I use it as a kind of a barometer to preparation, if you will. The Lakers have to go to San Antonio tonight to go play San Antonio in an earlier game. Granted, it's only an hour and a half from tonight's game, but that's a lot when you're on a back-to-back and you have to travel to go play that team. And it's from Phoenix to Texas. Not like Phoenix back to play the Clippers or go to Sacramento. They got to go to Texas. They got to go to 2 time zones. So that factors into that as well. It's an earlier game by 2 more hours on top of that. What are the Lakers going to do tomorrow night, roster-wise and result-wise?
Now, result-wise, I got to come in thinking we're going to get the dub every single time, right? Roster-wise, there is a part of me that makes me think this is going to be the first game that LeBron James sits down. I'm not going to lie to you guys because, shout out one of my homies, Eshawn. He was texting me. He's like, man, LeBron's body language just looks so bad, which I agree with. It does look bad, but he's 40. He's 40. Did we not put this together? Did we not decide this at the beginning of the season that 40-year-old man is going to get depleted a lot quicker than a 25-year-old man would? So LeBron, he looks depleted. He looks tired. His body language is tired because he is tired. So I think that this might be the first game that this San Antonio game that Bron sits for one of those load managements or injury managements, however you want to look at it. So as far as roster, that is what I think. Now, real quick, if I could touch on the disgustingness that I seen tonight. You know what's one thing I hate, Joe, and I think you're gonna relate to me on this one, Joe, and you tell me if you relate as well, Mark. I hate when when I'm training someone or like I'm helping someone with something, and I don't care if you ask me 1,000 questions. You could ask me 100 million questions. I'm cool with that. But don't ask me the same question twice. Don't make me do the same shit over and over and over. Don't make the same mistake after I already told you what's wrong, after we already figured out what's wrong. And the Lakers made the same mistake that they made against Denver in this game. Third quarter, scoring drought. Third quarter, terrible defense. I mean, terrible defense throughout the game, both games. But man, guys, I am so frustrated because that is the one thing I don't like. Look, man, not everyone is as smart as Albert Einstein. Not everyone's a genius, but everyone has the ability to work hard and not make the same mistakes you made last time. And damn it, we made the same damn mistakes. Did you guys see how many of these backdoor baseline cuts we kept getting hit with? I mean, it was every single time. It'd be a pick and roll at the top. They'll have a defender cutting baseline, and that defender every single time was getting that dunk on backdoor, man. So terrible, terrible, terrible for us, man. Some defensive just breakdowns. Like me and Joe were in the playback, and we watched Yusuf Nurkic get guarded. I think it was by Rui, right? I think it was Rui, and he went 3 straight times down court and did the same shit, and we just sitting there not sending no type of help.
And then they put Reddish on him.
Come on, man. This shit is ridiculous. And you know where all this shit stems from, Joe? And so I got a little angry right there. You know where all this shit stems from? It stems from bad roster construction. Because you know what? If this is what we have, so fuck it. We got to put what we got out there. Now, all right, Hayes gets hurt again. He's out again. Bro, so we're relying on, the Kolokos, the Ruiz, the Cams to go guard other teams' bigs? Come on, man. If we're getting destroyed by Yusuf Nurkic, come on, man. Come on.
So,
Hell no.
again, the Lakers lose 127-100. Mark, I know you missed most of the second half. At this point, I'm trying to figure out. Let's say John is right and LeBron sits tomorrow. You got a healthy Wembanyama that AD is going to have to deal with, and he already has to deal with enough in general. If you don't,
I'll answer you right now, Joe. We're not going to win the game. I mean, like, we're going to go in positively, like John and myself and you always do, but we're not going to win if LeBron doesn't play. I mean, I don't see it happening with the way the other guys are playing. And there's some really bad signs. Like, for me, why has Dalton been taken out of the starting lineup for Reddish? Like, we've all been pretty bullish on JJ, but man, he's showing some pretty bad signs to me at the moment too. If we're going to go all in and go rant mode, what is really concerning is how you come out of a halftime and just drop off like that in the third quarter. That's not just the players. That's something the coach is doing at halftime as well. That maybe it's not resonating. There's something wrong there. I was really happy in the first 13, 14 games, but this last little streak, we lost to Orlando on the back of a back-to-back for them. We lost to Denver on the back of a back for them. Like, AD and LeBron are not going to have much more rest before some of these games. We're not winning them. AD, like, I didn't see the second half, admittedly, but he's shown in the last few games he's gone back to that tendency of he can't really dominate when it matters, and that's a concern for me. So if we're gonna pull out LeBron, we may as well mark it as a loss, or that's got to be the mindset from the team, because he's 30 to 40% of our production right now. And it's not great production by his standards, but man, what a change in just a few games that I'm sort of seeing, and the inability, like John said, to master the roster, which is so poorly put together, that I don't know. I'm really worried, guys. Like, if I'm just being totally honest, I can see a massive slide here because I felt like we were just the numbers like 9-4 or 10 and whatever we were. Wasn't really indicative of how we were playing because every game was being so tight. And we knew when LeBron's level, which wasn't great for some of those games, but it was adequate. We knew once he started showing the 40-year-old signs that, man, none of these, like I said to you tonight, I think I used the word can AD and I can't remember what word I used, Joe, but then you sort of retorted it. But the actual word was, can AD and LeBron carry these guys for this little portion of time? Because they were playing with Gabe, D'Lo, and Rui. Like, and what's happened to Rui? Like, don't players get better? Like, you get better in the NBA system. The guy's going backwards like there's no tomorrow. And same with D'Lo. Like, is that the coaching? I don't know. Is that the confidence? Is that Bronny James? Like, what's going on at the club that these guys are just dropping off the face of the planet? And then we've talked about it just privately between us, but these guys are going AR, like the fan base is going AR. That's the wrong player, guys. Let's go after guys like Rui and that are on bigger contracts, coming with bigger reputations and done nothing. How's Rui starting for the Lakers? Honestly, like, man, I was a fan of his. I'm sick of it. Sick of seeing Gabe. Like, Reddish starting. I can't believe JJ's done that, guys. I can't believe it. Honestly, like, for me, that's like, you want to tick up a bad sign that we used to go about ham in some of his coaching and small ball and all that. Man, some of the signs I'm seeing from Reddick is bad right now. And okay, it might be roster construction, but I don't know what happened. Like, why aren't we starting Dalton? Like,
Yeah, there's no
crazy
excuse.
stuff.
And in my opinion, the only because I agree, right? Like, I'm not hopping off the JJ boat yet, but I am like just noticing. And this is not only JJ. I can sit here and list you a whole bunch of coaches. I mean, these are not great examples for the if we're going to talk about JJ because we want JJ to be good. But look at these NBA coaches,
We
right?
do.
Doc Rivers. What was the other one? What was the Bucks coach? Mike Buttenholzer. What was the other one? That weak ass Darvin Ham. All these guys. What was one thing they had in common? They were just super like no, this is my shit. This is what I'm going to do. Like Bud almost got fired because he would not stop the drop coverage. He kept doing drop coverage,
Mm.
and the Bucks almost fucking
Yeah,
around.
the stubborn
Yeah,
coaches, John.
is it?
Yeah.
There you go, Mark. That's the word I was looking for. Stubborn. So JJ, I mean, I think all NBA coaches are stubborn, but I
Mm.
want to see how. Like there's a fine line between being stubborn and being stupid and being stubborn and be like, all right, well shit, this is not working. So let me go in a different
Yep.
direction. And Darvin Ham didn't do that. Darvin Ham all year was like, you know what, we're going just 3-guard lineup. We're going with 3-guard lineup. So even if it wasn't working, I'm hoping that JJ sees like, all right, we're now on this 3-game losing streak. We've now seen Dalton in the lineup. We've now seen Dalton out of the lineup. Let's go ahead and make the decision to put Dalton in the lineup because hey, if we've had success with him there and have not had success with him not there, come on, man. Let's make the right decision here. So,
Hell yeah.
not that's how I feel about that. Let's see if JJ makes that fucking adjustment.
Well, the adjustments can be done all you want.
Mm.
The theme is it's roster construction and it's also leadership. If you look at a lot of the teams in sports in general, a lot of times it's a trickle down effect. If ownership is sour, it'll seep down into middle management, then it'll seep down to coaching, and then eventually the players.
Mm.
I'm going to stick to the localized teams. Let's say the Anaheim Angels of LA, of Northern San Diego. They, by the way, they're LA Angels, even though they have no business being in LA. They're in Anaheim. But Artie Moreno owns the Anaheim Angels, and they are a cesspool of loserness. These guys had Shohei Ohtani for 6 seasons. They've had Mike Trout for a lifetime. And they have not done absolutely squat. Wasted talent, wasted time, wasted life. Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing? Remember, you can vent. So let's move forward to the Lakers. Because we have to put this, sometimes you got to put things in perspective. Sometimes you have to understand that what happened 5 years ago doesn't necessarily matter anymore. You could probably hold on if it's a year or two after a championship and say, all right, it is what it is. Just to kind of give them a pat on the back a little bit, right? But at some point, you have to start looking at the little holes that are keep popping into that pool. Little holes that just keep leaking, okay? Something that I actually had not focused on until today. In the last 13 seasons, the Lakers have only won 50 games once. That's not good. 13 seasons. So it's not just what's happened in the last 3 seasons, really. They got a reprieve in 2020 just because the stars aligned that year. But before then and after then, it's been an unmitigated disaster. And understand something, folks. This is the LA Lakers. Much like how you've been hearing a lot about the New York Yankees only winning 1 World Series in the last, they were in the World Series in 2009. They've only won once in 15 years. I think it's their 3rd longest drought in their history. Whatever. The Yankees and Lakers are on the same path in terms of greatness. So we're not the Charlotte Hornets. We're not the New Orleans Pelicans. It doesn't work like that. And what needs to be said here, and we were vicious. I'm vicious, and it's public. One day, I'm sure if I'm more famous than I am now, that stuff's going to come out, and I'm going to have to atone to it, right? I called Jeannie some names. I called Rob some names. I got to deal with it, right? I got to deal with it. But am I wrong?
Hell no.
Am I wrong? Because what have they shown to not be called what they've been called? A snake oil salesman, a fake, Jeannie doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She should go run a circus instead of the Lakers. What has she done to prove that she's not those things? Is it harsh? Yeah, it is. I've actually thought about it. I said, man, I shouldn't be saying that. It's still Dr. Buss's daughter. Rob Pelinka is still the godfather to Kobe's kids or kid. But I don't know who Kobe is. God rest his soul. I don't know who Dr. Buss is. I don't have any affiliation with them other than the Lakers. So I'm going off that. I'm a Laker fan. I spent a lot of my time, a lot of my energy to this team. And how is this going to change? Well, am I going to sit around and be nice? What happens when you're too nice? Nothing gets done, folks. At least that's how it's been in my life. And this thing is not going to stop, folks. For those of you who have just joined us and those who have been with us for a long time, there's going to be more discussion on the future of the Lakers. There needs to be more campaigning on when this team needs to finally transition to a new era. And the guys that run this company right here, and by the way, for those who are going to expect Nightcap, the theme is going to be about this team tonight because they show and they continue to show how you're supposed to run a sports organization. And I'll get to you all on that soon here. I'll tease a little bit more later on the show, but right now it's Laker time. The Lakers, Jeannie, Rob, need to understand very, very soon here. I'm not talking about this year. This year's shot. It's shot. Unless LeBron retires this summer, we have to assume he's going to be back. We don't know when this new era can start until he's gone. And I'm sorry to say this, folks. I was trying my best to. Gerald was throwing it at me because Gerald knows sometimes what my triggers are, but I was trying to stay away. A little bit. I'm like, look, Lakers are playing well. Let's. I don't want to be that guy for a little bit. Let's just enjoy what's going on. Well, folks, LeBron was too worried about social media, and since then, look what's happened. How many times have I told you guys about LeBron James? You love him on the court. He does amazing things on that court, but the motherfucker fucks it all up when he gets off that court almost every time. He is an adolescent, immature, just human being. He will never grow up. He is a large child. That's all he is. And it makes sense when leadership drops in moments like this. Not from his playing standpoint, his head leadership. He's in his 22nd season, Joe. He's far. No, okay. If that's the case, then go. Yeah. Retire. Stop telling me, oh my God, 1 week when he drops 30 and 15, wow, he's the greatest. And then when things go wrong, you can't have it both ways. You can't do that. That doesn't make sense. So there needs to be it's not LeBron's fault. Management is the main culprit because they did not construct the right team. However, he is one of the highest paid players on the team. He is the leader. That's his job. That's what he's paid to do, to win and lead. Not to get 43,000 points. We give a shit about his stats. Stats mean nothing in basketball.
If you're not winning.
They mean nothing.
If you're not winning.
They mean nothing.
If you're winning and putting up good stats, that's clearly meaning something.
Nothing.
That's not true.
Nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing.
So let me ask you a question. So if we played in the game 7 and I had a player put up a 50-point triple-double and we won the game, you trying to tell me that those stats meant nothing?
Well, what was?
And we won the game. Like if let's say it was my team versus your team, and I had a player in game 7 of the NBA Finals who put up a 50-point triple-double. You mean it, and we won the game. You mean to tell me those stats would mean nothing?
So I mentioned the James Worthy finals performance in Game 7 in '88. When I discuss stats, I discuss how James Worthy got his one and only triple double in Game 7. When you're talking about using the stat to explain how amazing somebody played, absolutely. But if he has a triple double in a Game 7, which is an amazing feat, and he loses,
Means nothing.
means nothing. Now, what does it
Agreed.
mean when he wins? It means something as a footnote.
Mm.
It doesn't.
And
It doesn't
the
mean
43,000 points,
It's a
Joe, means
footnote.
nothing.
Yeah, it's a footnote.
Like
Because
that stat means nothing.
Because
Yes.
what happened? See, here's my point. I'm getting to a point here. Fast forward to 2010. Kobe Bryant has his worst shooting performance in Game 7 in 2010 in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots 6 for 24, I think it was.
But we won.
But they won.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a footnote. But then again, his haters love to bring that up. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the game? He won the game. Oh, and by the way, he had the game. He still had a game high 23 points in the end, right?
Absolutely.
He scored more points than anybody, shooting that bad, and he had 15 rebounds. So you all can eat a dick and suck on it a little bit, suck on the balls a little more too. You cannot have it both ways. Is the point here, and all the discussions. Stats don't mean anything except being a side note to the game.
Yes. In the larger picture of LeBron's 43,000 points or whatever. Yes, I agree.
I'm not. Yeah. Look, I don't go around going, oh my God, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant had the fourth most points in NBA history. I don't talk about that. If there's an individual performance, for example, I'll give you some stats. There's a few stats that absolutely just get me wow. Okay, I'll use LeBron's number one for me. LeBron in the 2016 finals led in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. Not only on his team, Golden State's team.
Mm-hmm.
That stat is ridiculous. You will never see that happen again. That's DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak. That will never happen again. That'd be like 3 no-hitters in a row in baseball. There's been one back-to-back no-hitter in Major League Baseball history. No one will ever break that. Same thing with that stat. So when we're talking about those kind of stats, that's a unique stat. 81 points is a unique stat. And that's those are okay for enjoyment purposes. But other than that, it doesn't matter if LeBron is scoring 25 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds. It means nothing.
If we lose, yes.
No, it means
I
nothing
just want to quickly say, like, we're talking about LeBron and Gerald. G'day, and I'll let you go really, really quickly. But I'll just with 7, he's mentioned here along the lines of, what do we expect out of a 40-year-old LeBron? And then you answered it well, Joe. We expect him to play to his contract, and the contract that he signed with the Lakers, which is it does AD get paid more, or possibly, or do you know what I mean? Like, if you're prepared to take that money, then you need to play to your contract. So if you're taking a 30-year-old's contract, you need to play at that level. And I didn't understand why the money for him was so high. Like the dude's rich as. Why didn't he sort of do what Jalen Brunson did for New York? He didn't do that for us, and he even brought his son to take up more salary cap. So, man, he's really getting to me now, LeBron. I've got to be honest, because we can blame Rob and we can blame Genie, but we know that he is a very controlling figure, and whether it's the boys in behind him at Clutch Sports that are really running the Lakers, I'm not sure what's happening. But there's no way this guy should have got $50 million for 2 years, plus his son on a 3 or 4 year contract. Surely Rob's not that dumb. He couldn't have wanted to have done that. And then all we're going to talk about all year is how Rob can't put together a roster. He's kind of hamstrung by LeBron's contract. amongst other things. So it's a combination of stuff that's going on here, guys. And but man, if LeBron wants to take 50 mil, then we're gonna go hard at him. And when he does stuff like tonight, where he didn't run back for a play, remember he lost the ball, but then they lost the ball, and because he was already at the court, they threw it to him and he dunked it. Man, that was embarrassing as hell by him. He shouldn't even have dunked that ball, man. He should have waited for the other players to get down to the other side of the court and passed it. Because like you can't, man, the efforts that he shows at times, it's bad, man. He slows plays down heaps. We're not going to just talk about LeBron. There's other players in the team, but if we're going to isolate him tonight, it's not at a good enough level, and it's clearly not at a level where we can win a chip. And when you talk about 50-game wins, like we haven't had that for 13 seasons, he's been with us for 6 or 7 years, guys. Like, we won the bubble because it's a shortened season, and I don't discredit that championship at all. It would have been
And we had
as
the
hard
best
to win
team.
as any others. Yeah. But man, and we've had really good sides along that journey, John. Like real good teams. Maybe not now, but man, like so LeBron just like this back end of his career, yeah, he's won a chip with us, but man, I'm not going to think of it that fondly, to be honest. I know we get carried away with 40-year-olds doing this and that. It's also a different era, guys. Like the medicine, the way he treats his body and that, like it's all like to a degree, like the era thing, John. It's true, bro. Like people live older now. People live until they're 100
Yes,
now. They
yes,
used to
but
live
that
until they're
doesn't
like
take away.
60. No, it doesn't take
Yes.
away the longevity, but I'm saying he's not really playing that well at years 38, 39, 40. Like we're not winning. Like he's playing
Okay,
well
but
in isolation, but I like winners, man. And
true,
this
true.
guy
Okay,
this guy's
you
not a
like
winner
when
right now.
let me just
Statistically, he is the best 39-year-old ever, but that isn't helping the
yes,
Lakers'
that's
cause
Yeah.
overall.
look,
And
Well,
I
that's water
said
under
this
the
a couple
bridge.
weeks ago, and best news of the day was I got told I didn't have to go ahead and on tour guide duty. I was so ecstatic. Then the worst news was the Lakers lost by almost 30. So yeah. So good news, no tour guide. Bad news, Lakers suck.
Look,
So there. Let me just say this. 2 weeks ago, I was already saying that LeBron taking the. Oh, by the way, he did take a pay cut, Mark. Yeah, of $2 million because Rob
oh,
was inept. Because Rob ineptly overestimated the salary cap, so he had to go back to LeBron. Can you
yeah.
take a little bit less? Can you take a little bit less? So yeah, you could say he took a pay cut, but I said a couple weeks ago, what is his commitment to winning? What is
Yeah.
his actual commitment to winning? So when you go and you take as a billionaire, because he's
Yeah.
a billionaire, as you know, if you
Not his
take
first
that
contract.
whole contract, what does that say? And you need depth. And as a basketball savant, as he's called himself, or been paraphrased, or how smart he is on the basketball card, he knows how depleted depth wise this team is. But yeah, again, when we see the beat time and time again, I saw the chat. I was watching the chat. I'm watching the whole way while I'm at dinner, and I'm watching this and watching you guys go back and forth. And they're talking about the defense. And that second half defense, JJ Redick, again, rookie coach. So I don't want to be too hard on him, but he got outcoached the last 2 games in that second half. Both those coaches in the past 2 games have outcoached him and adjusted him at halftime. The way that they kept going to Jokic 3 straight times early in that third quarter, 3 straight people that you got mismatches on and got easy putbacks, easy dunks, easy layups, got all that right away. Should have told you got to make a correction right away. And it just let it happen again and again and again. And they got beaten more. And it just, again, the adjustments he's not making. He doesn't understand that part of the game, obviously. It's not developed enough yet. And again, that's going to take some time. But I know that I saw in the chat, that there's a side like that's with me that wants Connect to be a starter, and there's others that say no, what about the defense? The defense will suffer, and I'm like going, what defense? You just gave up 127 points. Your defensive stopper at shooting guard got a donut. A donut. A donut. Rui came in, and the other guy that's supposed to give you defense. What did he do? He got beaten by Nurkic, time and time again.
Man, I can't
Look,
believe he's starting.
I answered this. I answered this question on the chat, but let me get it done so I can get you guys all
For
back.
Robert,
For
yeah.
Robert. So Robert
Let me jump in here real quick.
asked, "Do you think the Lakers were content to not go all out to win?" I already answered this, but I'm going to answer for everybody because I think it's a relevant question to what I was going to say next. Do you think that the Lakers were content not to go all out to win, knowing this game was going to take everything out of them to beat healthy Suns team when they get easy Spurs tomorrow? Okay, it's
Spurs
weird.
ain't so easy with Wembanyama.
First of all, there's no room to do that, Robert. There's no more room for that. Now, what I did get out of that initial questioning is I kind of went above and I went for the whole season. The Lakers have shown, whether they say it or not, LeBron included, they have shown that they're not really taking this season seriously. They never really did. They're infatuated with statistics. They're infatuated by Father Knows Best. I don't know if this rumor is true. I heard today. Apparently, Junior doesn't fly with the team. Is that true? Or was that a gag?
Yeah, he only plays in home games.
Okay.
Yeah.
The G League.
In the G League.
And someone,
he travels with the team. He travels with the big team, Joe. So
But does he go in his own? Does he go take his own transportation?
No. So he travels with the Lakers to Lakers games. So if we play away, he'll come.
I'm talking about G League.
No, he doesn't. He only plays home games with the G League.
He only plays home games with the G League.
That's what set people off in the last week.
Okay.
He doesn't go on
Clark and
folks.
John.
I can go off for another hour on this one. Folks, I'm gonna say this one more time because I can't keep talking about this. LeBron is a chump. He's a chump. Okay.
All right.
His whole demeanor, his whole setup is chumpness. Okay. And that's not really about the game. Forget about the game for a second. This guy's a chump. Okay. And he's used the Lakers for what he's used them for, and the ownership has allowed it to happen. This is not LeBron's fault that they lost tonight. It's not AD's fault. It's not the assistant Nate McMillan's fault. It's not JJ Redick's fault. It's everyone's fault. From owner, middleman, player, dipshit, whatever, divas, all of them. This is an organizational problem. It's infested with shit.
Yes.
Okay? Stats, I'm going to quote Bill Belichick, so you all got your credibility. You all can't say shit about Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest football coach of all time. You know what his quote is about stats? Stats are for losers. Sincerely, Bill Belichick.
All right.
It's not Joe Soros saying this. Nobody in Temecula. Bill Belichick, greatest coach of his era in any sport, saying this. And I want you all to pay attention a little bit more, okay? When you lose, you have no room to argue. If you argue after losing, you lose your credibility. Don't talk. Just shut up.
So that's why stats when you're losing is fucking meaningless. Devin Booker, when he was on the Suns before they got good, Devin Booker has stats. Empty stats, yes. But when you're winning, stats mean fucking everything because you have literally been the crucial part of your team winning because your stats have been proven to be effective. So that's on that. But hold on, I got to touch on this Bronny point. This LeBron point because I was trying to touch on that earlier. Yes, guys, we fucking all understand that LeBron James is tired. He's 40. He's fucking 40. Yes, we all know. Then some are going to say, then retire. But guess what, y'all? The games that he balls out, you guys are on his fucking dick, and you guys are like, oh my God, LeBron this, and LeBron that, and LeBron this. If you're going to be one way, be that one way the whole fucking time. That's my problem. That's my problem. It's like, You
Well,
guys
what
are
about
so-
AR in the
Hold
past
on,
two games?
hold on, Gerald. Let me land the plane because I didn't.
Okay,
I
you're
didn't say it.
I'll,
Let me land the
I'll
plane.
bring you in.
Cooking,
I'll
baby.
bring you
Let
in.
me land the plane. Let me land.
I'm gonna
Okay,
bring you
look.
in. I'm gonna bring you in.
So check this out. Look. So like I was saying, right? Of course, LeBron James is 40 years old, and yes, he should have absolutely took a pay cut. And it was so fucking selfish the fact that he did not take a pay cut. It was so fucking selfish. It was
Olive.
disrespectful, especially the fact that he is a billionaire already. He has everything made in life. But you know what, guys? He did it. He did it. He didn't take the pay cut. So this is what we got to deal with, okay? So now who does this fall on? This falls on fucking management to be able to build a team around him, knowing that this guy is 40 fucking years old, knowing he's not going to be able to do back-to-backs, knowing he's going to have badass body language some games because he is fucking tired. And we can't do anything about it because take Braun off this team. Who the fuck are we getting that's going to put us in a better situation? Nobody, guys. Nobody. So whether we like to see Braun doing this or not, all I'm trying to say is, look, guys, yes, LeBron James was selfish as fuck for taking this pay cut. And I mean, for not taking the pay cut. I hate it. I'm upset because I'm a Lakers fan more than I'm a LeBron fan. But every single fucking, if Rob wouldn't have signed that contract, wouldn't have did the dotted line, 29 other GMs would have been fucking running to make it happen. And again, guys, you're right. He's not worth 50 million at the age of
Man,
40.
I don't agree with
But
that,
guess
John.
what?
Some
But
GMs
hold
wouldn't
on.
have.
You're right. Some GMs wouldn't have. You're right. Because like the teams that are like Denver or like
Developing,
OKC. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're
Fair
right.
enough.
But I say this to say, LeBron James and just what he's done in the past and just his legacy simply is enough for teams to just want to sign him off the fucking viewership you're going to get, off the money you're going to get. Teams will sign him. So all I'm saying is, look, guys, was it selfish of LeBron to take this 50 million? Absolutely selfish, especially knowing that he's bringing his son that he knows isn't fucking good enough to be the NBA, especially if he's a basketball savant that he is. He knows his son's not good enough, but he did. So now this falls on management to make this happen.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
Let me just say one thing. Let me say one thing.
Gerald, go ahead, and then I'll comment.
Thank you for flying John Costa Airlines. We hope you'll fly with us again
John,
soon.
you went from United to Spirit in that.
Let's talk. Let's debate. I'd love to debate.
You're not paying attention to. You're not paying attention to the basics here. Okay, you can't say, "Oh, well, he did this," and no, you can't just let that go. We talked about this during the draft. I yelled outside a goddamn church the day I was on my phone. I was outside a church. I'm going to hell now.
Oh, you were going there already, man.
No, Abraham.
You're on the fast track to there anyway.
F Bronny and F LeBron and F the whole world. Why? Why did I do that? Why was I upset? I was upset because of what's happening right now. This is all the fault of bad management and entitlement. You're sitting there talking about stats.
Bad management. I'm not talking about stats, Joe. I'm talking about bad management. We have agreed on that, Joe.
But you're giving it a pass. This is what should have happened. What should have happened this summer, really, is the LA Lakers should have sat down with LeBron and said, "LeBron, it's time for us to go another way."
It's not
How do we know they didn't have that conversation?
The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to get back. I'm sorry,
but it's not happening. It's not happening.
It's the same draft Andrew Luck.
Kobe.
When Kobe was completely different. Kobe was on a team. So you guys keep comparing LeBron with Kobe on stupid shit. Kobe had a completely different scenario. Kobe didn't have a team. He had draft picks, second picks, over and over again, and he was getting injured every other day. Forget about Kobe. I'm talking about now.
Man, he gave us 5 chips. It's a completely different scenario.
Kobe didn't sit there and go, "Oh shit, let's go get Westbrook because we're worried about James Harden in Brooklyn." There's a lot of things that we can bring up right now that caused all this, but we're going to be here for the next 50 hours. Plus, we already talked about it.
Yeah, true.
We got to get at it. This is the problem right here, is This was a money grab in the end. There's no denying this at this point. It was a money grab. I was at Staples. I was at Crypto recently, okay? I was at Crypto. The neighborhood looks like shit. And you can blame LA a little bit too, obviously. But there's also something going on with that organization. AEG is struggling, which is why they sold 27% of their ownership to the Guggenheims. I'm going to be talking about those guys soon. EJ, you're listening. We're going to be talking more. We're going to be starting that campaign very, very quickly. There's something going on with this team. It's not working. They're too cash-strapped. The brain isn't where it needs to be. When you don't have enough money to run an organization in general, it's already hard. When you got to run the greatest basketball franchise on the planet with its reputation and its fan base, it's even worse. And it doesn't help to cater to an entitled asshole. No matter how great he is on the court, it's not working. Tired or not, it's not working. You're giving a guy, when you're paying somebody $50 million a year, you don't have time to wait for, oh, he's tired. Oh, it's on the back. Look what they're doing to Trae Young. Look what they're doing to Joel Embiid. People are tired. They lost all these contracts, these regional contracts with Diamond or what was the other one? It started with a B. Bailey's. How many times has that company changed? It went from CBS to Bailey's to Diamond. Soon it's going to be horse shit, bullshit. Like what's next? They're not making the money they're supposed to because all these assholes are getting paid $50 and $60 million with a collective bargaining agreement that doesn't let you take a piss anywhere anymore. And then you're like, okay, well, how are we supposed to make this work? And they're only playing 60 games, and they're only playing 55 games, and they won't play at the end of a back-to-back. Now you have people like, you know what, screw this. I'm not going to pay for this cable shit. These guys don't want to play. I mean, I can go on and on. It's coming to a head. It's coming to a head. The act is tired, okay? Most recently, crying and whining. Dude, when you got Kwame Brown clowning you online, I mean, you've fallen pretty deep, especially when he's right.
Yeah,
LeBron, look, I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now, okay? We're going to find out. We said this already. In the next week, probably 2 weeks, we're going to find out what's going to happen to this team. And if it's going to go the way it looks like it's going to go, you all got to start getting with the fact that this thing needs to end. And it has to start with your favorite player. It's over. It's done.
Starts with
He's
management.
becoming Peyton Manning in 2015. Now, his team was able to carry him. Von Miller and those guys and management were able to carry him. There's no one on this team that can carry him. AD does not. AD is a phenomenal player. Phenomenal. But he's not a dominant player. He can't take over a game week in, week out, day in and day out. It's not his game.
He's not an alpha, man.
You're right. So we all have to kind of grow up. Stop worrying about what happened in the past. Stop thinking about Russell Westbrook's stats. This team needs to make a decision. And if they can't make this decision, then the paddle keeps coming.
Coming. Real quick, let me say this one final thing to tie it all up. And I think Abraham's comment is great right here. He said, Vogel wasn't the problem. And I think that's exactly to what I was saying, the way I led the conversation and what Joe is saying and what Mark is saying, what Gerald's been saying. The problem is management, because you're right. Vogel was not the problem, because in 2020, when we had a defensive-minded team, because management put a defensive-minded coach with defensive-minded players, and we got a outcome of the championship, management put a good roster construction for a good coach that makes sense in his coaching philosophy. And hey, great outcome. Following year, we go with this offensive-minded team, and then now Frank Vogel, who's a defensive-minded coach, who has now offensive-minded players. That's when we had TA and we had Carmelo and all them, and LeBron was saying, "Oh, we're playing on outscoring team now." Then Vogel looked like the problem because what? Because now you got defensive-minded players with a coach that has you have an offensive-minded players with a coach that has a defensive-minded philosophy. What problem was that? That was management's problems for not building a right roster for the coach. And now this year, whose problem is it? management for not bringing in that backup big, for not bringing in that point guard that we need, for not for not for also. I mean, even part of it is being so oh LeBron, do whatever you want. Again, this is fucking LeBron James. He kind of runs the NBA. I'm not saying it's you allow it. It's just not as easy as everybody in the chat thinks it is. Everybody in the chat is just like, oh no, if it was me, I would sit there and tell LeBron James no. Like, yeah, you wouldn't do that, buddy. Like, so I say
Oh,
all
you're
this to
gonna like
say,
this. You're gonna like this.
so,
What JJ said
Joe.
after the game. I got it.
Okay,
I'm
hold on.
posting it right now.
Give me a sec. So 9 times out of 10, people are saying this in the chat, but that wouldn't happen. But ultimately,
Captain Obvious.
to
Reddick.
put a tie on this, management is the biggest problem.
Did I not say that? Did I not say that?
Yeah, that's what we talked about a week ago, Gerald.
Here comes
and then
Fitzgerald. I
since then
told you so speech.
Because I
Well-
told you so.
Well,
It's
but
all right.
like we discussed it after it wasn't even his 37-point game. I think it was the one prior to that, Gerald.
When he
and
had he had 220s before he hit the 37.
Yeah, and I sort of said like this guy needs to start all year, and then straight away he's gone back to Reddish. But I'm just going to quickly talk about like John, your point about management. I just feel like when things go right, LeBron, will sort of take credit for that side of things. But when things go wrong, he doesn't want to know about it. So, like it is management's fault. Don't get me wrong, but he's a big part of like management decisions. I would have thought so. LeBron's tied up in where we're at big time. In my opinion. But anyway, just quickly, like, man, John came in to land. I'm going out the other way. I'm ready to launch. And basically, if you look at a guy like Gabe Vincent, man, I'm over it. Like, I don't really know how it works, but if you get to the point like this in Spanish soccer, you got people protesting outside the stadium. Like, does that stuff happen? How's a dude like Gabe getting paid $12 million to play at the Lakers?
And New Orleans can pick up two guys off the street.
That's right.
Elfrid Payton last night, 21 assists, 7 to 10 shooting. Brandon Boston, who they picked up off of waivers, has been
and we got Gabe Vincent for 12 mil. Yeah, well, I'm ready to, as you boys know, I'm not much of a flyer, but 10 mil. But I'm at the point where I've got to get over there and do something because Gabe's I can't see him on the.
By the way, each year just to clarify.
And why like 16 minutes tonight, JJ? I mean, you're getting a lot right, man, but you're starting to get a bit wrong too.
Well, actually, you were right on that because Reddish again 0 points. But what it comes down to is this:
and Gabe had like
3 games ago, he lost to Jamal Mosley, who's a good young coach, quite possibly could be coach of the year in some circles if Orlando finishes high up on the food chain. Saturday, he lost to a championship winning coach in Michael Malone because he got out adjusted in the second half and they got destroyed in the second half. Tonight, he got destroyed in the second half again because of adjustments made by Mike Budenholzer, another championship-winning coach. He's getting his lunch handed to him because he's not knowing what to do and how to adapt the game in the second half. His defense is terrible. The transition defense is still bad, and he's not finding ways to win. He's finding ways to lose. And unfortunately, we're going to take the lumps because, again, we wanted to see what he would do as a rookie head coach. And these are some of the lumps you're going to have to take with a rookie head coach because he's getting out-coached 3 games in a row. And especially the last 2, we've seen that quite clearly.
Well, who's helping the guy, though? Like, he's got some pretty experienced coaches there, and also LeBron.
Joe doesn't even care about assistant coaches. Just ask him.
Well, no, I understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to fall on JJ, but yeah, I'm seeing bad signs with the starting lineup, with some of the rotations now. And like I said to the guys before you got here, Gerald, when you come out of a halftime, the last 2 games in the third quarter is like tonight, they doubled our point tally in the third quarter. What's being said at halftime? Do you honestly, I don't know if basketball is like that where, in soccer, the team talk at halftime is very important. Maybe basketball, it's not as influential, but something's
For
not
sure.
quite connecting. And in AFL, you call the third quarter the premiership quarter, or the winning quarter essentially.
Yeah.
And man, why are we playing so bad in that quarter every single time?
Dylan says, how about your guy, Max Christie, $8 million? All he does is do cardio, trash roster, trash GM from Dylan to Villain. I'll just say this again. You've got a guy that's averaging 9 points a game in use of Nurkic. And they went to it 3 straight times, got 3 straight mismatches, got 3 straight layups.
Yeah.
And as a coach, you don't change that up. You don't call a timeout, figure something out. No, you just let it happen again and again and again. It's just, again, we're just seeing it again. We're going to take our lumps because it's what happens. You have a rookie head coach and a roster with a lot of bad components on it.
All right, you guys want to hear something?
Mm-hmm.
Just so John doesn't get sad that I'm picking on his boy.
Bro, stop that shit, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Good,
I'm
good.
not.
I
I'm
want
not.
you to be angry.
ain't
I
no-
want John today
no,
to be
It
here.
ain't no.
For,
You can't get
you
me
ready?
angry. I can't.
You ready? It's gonna hurt
Those
though.
words
This is
Tell
gonna
me,
Get
hurt.
me angry, John. That's okay. I'll get angry for
This
you.
is gonna hurt.
I can
So
get angry.
So the top
that.
top four salaries on this team is LeBron, AD, D'Angelo, and Rui.
We're all pissed off now. It's laughable. And we
Now
knew that.
let me compare something. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are.
Okay. The 5 highest paid players on the Celtics: Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Derek White.
A championship starting lineup.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's a bunch
what
of
do I
misfits.
say? EJ, you want to remind these guys? What am I about? Doesn't matter who you are. Okay, you all know what it is. For the regulars, you know. For the ones that are here, it's the R word. And it doesn't matter if it's LeBron.
John, you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Good.
Mine in the gutter, bro.
It's important to understand that you can appreciate, but also understand that there's a level of performance based off of what you've created in the market. So I'm going to use another example. Buffalo Wild Wings used to be a really, really good buffalo wing joint. Then, a few years back, Arby's bought them. Now, let's use them as the comparison. Man, these guys have the best wings. They're great. Doing a good job, guys. Thank you for management. 5-star reviews. All right. Now you're expecting, hey, man, I like to go to Buffalo Wild Wings once every month because you want to keep it fresh. It's just like good steak. You don't want to eat it all the time, right? Then all of a sudden, some jerk off buys or is in charge now of that place. And all of a sudden, you go over there, you take a bite out of the wing, tastes like shit. Now what? Well, Joe, we took care of you for 20 years. You were happy. You have 5-star reviews. Come on, appreciate us. I'm like, you ain't the ones I was appreciating. You guys are the ones that screwed this up. Even if you had certain people that stayed on, you should know better. You should have brought what was there before. Well, Joe, we don't make those calls. That's management. Well, then get the fuck out of the way then. Why would you associate yourself with mediocrity then when you were really, really good? Does that make sense? So, the Lakers are Buffalo Wild Wings. They were badass. And then all of a sudden, some other schmuck came in and screwed it up. And then there were some people held over. And now we're wondering, hey, man, what the fuck? You're still getting paid the same amount of money to suck ass? No. We ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. Especially when you see the ass, because today's word for Mark is ass. it was like you were using the word ass perfectly. Like I use it when I'm in private. Like this is ass. These guys are ass. You're an ass. Like that's usually the word I
Look at
use.
that.
It's less kind of.
Shake that ass.
It's less. It's less. I guess derogatory in a lot of ways.
Mark, you're funny.
But we're sitting here, and we're watching this team continue to just not do things, and then you have to hear about, oh, social media. Oh, his son doesn't fly with anybody else because he's whatever. Like really, this is what we're gonna support. This is what we're gonna cheer for. You wonder why this all jacked up. There you go, right there. The evidence is right there. So it's important that you call it out. We call it out. No, I don't have to play in the NBA. I don't have to run an NBA team. And based off who runs the NBA, I mean, are we really that much different, guys? I mean, you let Connect drop to 17, and this isn't the first time, guys. This is a epidemic with these GMs. These guys don't know how to draft anybody because probably don't do shit. They don't go scouting in these high schools. Probably, who knows what the hell they do? They go send scouts. Yeah, it's easy to go send somebody. You're the guy, man. You're the one that makes the call. Go watch on your own if you know basketball, right? So that stuff's not going to work with me because I have a retort for that. In the end here, I want y'all to know that we're going to keep watching. We're going to keep commentating. We're going to keep supporting. But understand this: if this thing continues like this, the heat's gonna get higher and higher and higher to the point where, you know how heat rises and you're fine downstairs, but the people on the third floor are sweating their ass off. I ain't turning the air conditioner on. Sorry. You want to be comfortable? Get your ass down and earn it. That's it. That's it, guys. It's about winning. This is about winning. And if you want $50 million a year, your ass better be winning. If you can't win, get the fuck out.
Straight
Don't
up.
get mad that people are treating you bad online. Half those things are bots anyways. Half those people talking shit are not even real.
Man, did I miss something? Like was LeBron or Bronny?
Yes, when you were turning the page of the LeBron negative stuff, you just kind of went by it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest,
came out, John, and made a big deal about how he was shutting down social media. You know how he goes zero dark mode or whatever. Normally he does that, for finals, but he's doing it now. And then he liked a post by KD's manager that was talking about how everyone's super negative in in Twitter and stuff like that. Basically, he was being a pussy. And
so that's okay. So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know that because I don't give a fuck about none of that social media stuff. I just care about what happens on the court. Like if it's not on the court, like I could care less about what
story, and it shows
John,
something.
Are you serious right now with
that's
this?
not true. That's not true, Joe. I could give a fuck about what these guys do off the court. I could give a fuck if
no. But like
it factors in though,
intentions.
What?
He's done it before. Remember the last year with the bloody time, whatever, the Sands of Time or whatever the hell he did there. Like,
it's always something.
Why is he doing that shit?
I'm not. LeBron
he doesn't need to do it. We don't need that. He's 40.
He's
grow up.
He's always
needs to grow up
in some kid shit. He's definitely always in some kid shit.
If Bronny was doing that,
let me give y'all this advice. Don't fucking pay attention to that shit. We hear
no, you can't. Not. It's affecting the team.
John. He's the one that announces that he's leaving this kind of shit. He's the one that's made a big deal out of it. When we're not playing well, and people have gone, man, the only reason you're leaving is people are giving you shit about Bronny, bro. Like, so like you bring Bronny on the like LeBron's all over the shop, John. He's struggling.
I totally
I know you love him.
It. But no, it's not even the fact that I love him. I'm just saying I don't give a fuck about that whole John Morant shit. I could care less. I don't give a fuck about what you're doing off the court. Yeah. As long as you're in these,
he didn't play for a year, almost a year and a half because of it.
Yeah.
He
doesn't play for Lakers,
matters,
man.
It matters. It's a distraction.
It is a distraction. So if LeBron is saying again, I'm just now finding out about this. So now he's doing the dark mode shit. So if he's saying dark mode, isn't that what you guys want? Isn't that him getting off the socials? Like,
Nah, he's
I
Why
don't
do
know.
you have to
Is that
tell
what it means?
people?
yeah,
You're
like
right.
just
You're right. You're right.
piss
Why
off.
do you have to tell people? That's some
Play
shit that a
basketball,
15-year-old little boy does. That's some shit a 15-year-old little boy does looking for attention. Yeah, I agree.
Well, what are his
Why do you have
But
to
he
stats?
tell
I
always
want to know what his
does that.
stats are.
what?
What are his stats leaving social media? Is he 2 for 1?
I don't know.
8 for 1?
I didn't even know he was leaving social media.
Gerald,
'cause I
save
was
us from this discussion. I can't.
fucking-
Yeah,
I'm happy John got
LeBron
excited tonight.
circles.
We haven't seen John this excited before, so I'm kind of happy about that. But then again, it's just what it
Right.
is. You know,
Abraham, they could drink whenever and whatever they want at any time. Joe has gotten drunk on this show before, so
slurring too.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
drink
usually
Abraham.
slur.
I'm like,
I'm
I don't prevent them from drinking or not drinking. I've already
I'll be
stopped.
drinking tonight for Nightcap. It's coming shortly. However, folks,
But you wait, Joe. Let me say one thing.
It's
You know
only
what? You and I
4:30
are
here,
not having.
Abraham.
You know what? You and I are not having at this rate at 30 games. We're not having olives. We're not going to have olives.
I brought you
I
guys
tried.
my stuffed green Spanish olives
but
here.
those aren't
just for
bad.
you.
I can eat those.
Yeah.
Mark. I can eat
We
those.
got it. Okay, they're black
olive.
olives.
It's black.
They're,
Black is
got it.
death.
man, nah, they're Spanish olives. All good, all good. Represent.
It's the only black
The
I
way
don't
we're
like.
going, you're gonna
man.
eat 'em.
It's the only black I don't like, man. I wear black. Everything I wear is black. Everything
Nah,
my
fair
trucks
enough.
have all been black. Everything's black in my life. Black phone,
Yeah.
It's hard.
black blower thingy for my little keyboard. Black
It's hard.
external hard drive. What else?
Black hat, black shirt.
Black screen cleaner. It's what it is.
What else you got going on there,
What else-
Joey?
what else
Black
is-
undies,
Joe,
black G-string.
Joe,
Yeah.
look at me. What else is black?
No, I'm talking about like items, not about people.
I'll just say this again: when it comes to LeBron, the stats are what they are.
By the
but
way,
when
you're not black. You're lighter than I am.
Good intervention, Gerald.
When you see it out on the court, guys, despite what the stats say,
This is a
despite
good
him
night
being,
tonight.
prolific as the most prolific 39-year-old player of all time in the NBA, despite all that, you see the effort out there. You see the fact he quits on defense quite a bit. You see the effort that he gives. You see him arguing the things that he does that are just detrimental to the team. And the fact that he did still take $50+ million, the fact he still did put, he maneuvered him and his team, maneuvered Bronny onto this team to take up a dead roster spot, already knowing there's 5 or 6 dead roster spots on this team already. It's just so frustrating. If you're going to do that, then please hustle every play. But again, he's 40. I know he can't do that. He doesn't even come close to doing that. We see that on his effort on defense or lack thereof. But the problem is this team is terrible on defense. And the only way to win games, guys, is by outscoring their opponents. Put connected the starting lineup. You've already frazzled the kid by getting rid of his rhythm is all shot in the past 2 games.
Dude.
You see, and you know what? You're saying, keep Reddish in there. The guy got us a goose egg. The guy averages close to a goose egg. So you want more goose eggs? Keep Reddish in there, because that's what you're going to get. Don't worry. Even though he'll probably be benched and sit at the end of the bench, he'll come back. It's like a cockroach. It comes back to haunt you. Those individual type players will like Reddish will come back into the rotation. He'll get his opportunity again. He'll play good for a couple games, and then we go right back to the 0 or 3 points on offense again. That's the problem. It's 4-on-5, guys, when you go out there. And then Rui, when he comes back, it's so inconsistent. He is just so inconsistent. You never know
Rui's
which
shit.
Rui you're going to get.
And to put it in perspective, too. Put it in perspective. I mean, you would think that pride, some kind of male testosterone. Let me show you a simple stat. Since we're talking about stats, Dalton Connect has played 17 NBA games. He had 7 points tonight, and he's outscored both Max Christie and Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent is a veteran.
And Cam Reddish.
that Max Christie just got an $8 million a year contract. Like, where's the balls here? Like, you're letting some guy who just came in outscore more than 3 guys that have been around. Like,
Combined.
what is that? So when I'm thinking about as a leader, as a guy that wants to win,
horrible.
the first thing I'd be doing is I'd be like, Christy, really? Like, you've been here, this is your 3rd year? Kenneck's whooping your ass. You're like a freaking turnstile, dude. When are you going to start playing? And there's 2 things that are going to happen there. He folds completely, or he starts playing better. Either way, you win. Either way, you win, because then you know. Then you can be like Larry Bird and get on the mic and go, "Oh, well, we played like a bunch of girls tonight." And
So let me ask-
and then Kobe. Fast forward to Kobe. Kobe's sitting there, deadline day, and they're like, "Hey, Kobe, what's going on?" To players that are on the team, right? I think it's last year, second to last year. Like, "Hey, Kobe, what are you doing in practice?" No. He's like, "I'm just here waiting to, see when your last day is going to be."
So let me ask you this, Joe. Cam Reddish, who is he supposed to guard on the opposing team? Let's just take not the specific name of the players. What specific positions does he usually guard when he's playing on defense?
He's supposed to guard the really the small forward that's good. Small forward, shooting guard like a Michael Booker.
Okay, so in this case, Pheonix,
Like
you could
Booker.
say Pheonix has 2 shooting guards that they start in their lineup and a small forward in Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was 9 of 17. Bradley Beal was 10 of 15. Devin Booker was 10 of 17.
Yeah.
Who was playing defense? Certainly wasn't Cam Reddish tonight.
No, that's your point, Gerald. Sorry.
And he got zero in return.
Yeah, but that's like he's a net negative. Like, you can start the guy and say he's a good defender, but he scores 0 points, and then his opposition players always getting their average, as far as I'm concerned. He's not a lockdown defender. He's not Bruce Bowen. He's pretty much an irrelevant player. And then if you chuck in Gabe on the same court as him, like, these guys are really unproductive. Like, at least with D'Lo, he might be on the bench, but he can still come on and score 15, 17 points like he did tonight. Sometimes it looks horrible. Sometimes a lot of it's in junk time. But we've got some players there on the roster like Max, Gabe, and so we just mentioned the bloke there that they're non-factors. They're not even NBA level players. So I look at other benches that we're playing against, and they're always better, man. So, like, yeah, again, poorly put together roster, but the players have a bit to blame too. Like, Gabe hasn't come here, he hasn't held up his side of the bargain. Rui isn't developing. D'Lo's hot and cold. So, we need to start talking. We can talk about LeBron all we want, but we need to get deeper into the roster as well.
Because he's not going anywhere until
No.
he wants to leave.
That's right.
Everybody's going to ask for it. I get comments all week long. He needs to go in. Problem is, he's not going to go. All right. Let's just put
Like
that
John
out there.
said. Like John was saying.
We could want him to go all we want. But the fact is, he owns this organization without owning it. Okay. He controls this organization. First of all, he's got a no trade clause. Second of all, he's arm in arm with the owner. Third, he's arm in arm with the GM. So, and his son's on the team for a fourth point. There's no way we're going to be able to get him off the team, no matter how much we want or how much we think it'll better this team. I know Joe talks about it. Might have to take that step in the right direction. Stone's been talking about it for over a year now, that we need to move on and blow up the team and just move on. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen because of LeBron.
I think it's clear. I think it's clear. It's clear the direction that we need to go. And I've been trying to tell, Abraham and everybody in the chat that's here is they just absolutely just hates LeBron James. This has to do nothing with if you hate or love LeBron James. This has to do with reality. This man,
he's not going anywhere, whether we like it or not.
Anywhere. He's not going anywhere, whether you like him or not. For what he maybe,
but he is going somewhere. Like, he's going to retire.
Yes,
so
he's going to
retire.
Why would
we go like all chips in and support this guy? Like, he's around for another 5 to 10 years. He's going to retire, man. So it's
And he's going
like,
to ride off into the sunset with us,
yeah,
unfortunately.
it's like he needs to sacrifice right now for the betterment of the team, and he's not with his
He's not.
contract.
But the problem
He's
is,
not.
by that time, we'll probably have given up both of those first-round draft picks, the 29 and 31.
Yeah, well,
So,
everything around it looks really bad. I know,
yeah,
Yeah,
but
in
in a
our
perfect
future,
world, you have
I just
LeBron
want him to
retire
know.
and you get younger.
Look, as long as LeBron knows that if he doesn't win and run another ring, it is 100% his fault because he had the ability to take a pay cut and then allow the Lakers to build that roster around him to where he can be competitive. Because you look at the Celtics, look at the teams that have been winning. You need to be deep. You need to have depth to be able to compete in this league. And the contract him taking at 40 years old doesn't allow us to be able to have that depth. So I say this to say, hey, man, it's unfortunate he hasn't taken the pay cut, but we can hate on it all we want. We can cry about it all we want, but this is a reality, guys. Let's not cry over spilled milk.
There's no need to blame. It's not one guy's fault. Look, you can't blame a child, an undisciplined child, who keeps running everybody around. When a child's a child and you let the child do what they want as a parent, let's say, you can't blame the child at that point because the parent is not doing anything. The Jeannie and Rob are the parents. LeBron is the child. They allowed LeBron and his cronies to dictate terms on their franchise. I'm sorry. You can let a star player have a say. You can let them be an integral part of the decision-making of certain things. But to make this organization bend at your will for things that are not associated with winning, that is bad. I don't care if you were Michael Jordan. I don't care. You can't do that. If you're winning, then fine. But you're not. And you're not in a position where you were winning.
Adar, nobody said. I never said the Celtics took a pay cut. I don't know what you're talking. I said if LeBron took a pay cut, he should look at
LeBron is pay cut.
Hold on, let me just say this real quick.
LeBron taking a pay. No, this needs to be said. LeBron taking a pay cut is not the issue here, and it never was. He needs to be gone for that money to be allocated for new talent.
Yes, Joe, but that's not reality, brother. That's not reality.
The reality is every year you don't win a championship with LeBron and AD, and you know you're not. You're wasting time.
You're wasting time. You're right, Joe.
Make it happen. Get rid of them.
Right, Joe. But we have a franchise that doesn't have the cojones to get it done.
Okay, then what the hell are we doing then?
Joe, you and Mark, let's go to fucking Genie and let's go get it done.
I don't want to go to Genie. I don't want to go anywhere.
Listen,
I'm going to Genie by myself,
real quick.
guys.
Yes, all I'm saying is this is management's problem. And again, Adar SL. I never once said that somebody on the Celtics took a pay cut. I said, look at the Celtics. Look at how deep they are. Look at teams that have been winning a championship. Look at how deep they are. So that tells you if you want to compete, you want to win a championship, you need to be able to be as deep as them, or you need to be able to put a team that can give the content. LeBron taking $50 million a year does not give us the opportunity to do that. With that being said, I'm going to do my recap. If you guys want to follow me, Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I appreciate and love all you guys. Everybody in the chat. Man.
Thank you,
guys
John.
are real ones.
Appreciate everything you do, John. And also big shout out to Serge, who's also leaving for the day as well. Just want to give him a big shout out. Serge was incredible all night long. Serge, you're the best out there. Truly appreciate it. John, always a pleasure having you on, my friend. Please go ahead and support John Costa, Clutch Talk, and Lakers Corner. And hopefully you'll be back. Are you going to be back, or are you going to be cursing Joe down the hallway?
No, what? No, Joe. Bro, I love Joe. These are the type of people that I love. When you can have a argument,
I do. It's okay.
And then you can come right back to it. You can come right back, and the next day you're like, "Hey, what's up, my brother?" You know.
Dude, this is the first time John
good chat
laid it down.
Okay,
that's not.
That's how we roll.
This is a epic moment. This is not a negative.
Yeah.
We're about the action. We're about the heat.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay.
We're gonna have debate.
You want to say what you think is right. That's the point.
There you go.
And even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. It's about the show.
Hell yeah.
Now,
right.
There's going to be a show that's going to be on in about 16 minutes. And if you all think I was hot tonight, I'm going to be hot
Oh shit!
tonight, but in a
See ya,
positive
John.
way. Because I got some daggers I'm throwing out.
At least you got Snell.
My Dodgers
He's
just
on
signed Blake
fire.
Snell, and props to Empire Jeff. Empire is, I believe, in KC. God bless you. KC is one of the most boring places on the planet. I hope you're doing all right over there. But EJ got some stuff thrown at him when he was saying Blake might be coming. Now, there was a chance he was coming last year, but it got veered off a little bit. But we believe that Blake was always coming here, and it's finally happened. And this is a major need for the Dodgers. They needed a lefty. They had no lefty. All those pitchers, injured or not, all righties, no lefties. And and of course, there was a lot of things thrown in the last few hours from crybaby Giant fans and baseball fans in general. You guys are going to get a nice little lip tonight, and I'm going to read what at you, and you're going to be hard pressed to argue back. You're going to be hard pressed because you're thinking you got jacked. You're going to see. I'm going to remind you guys who really got jacked in the last 8 years.
Serge and John, I'm going to go ahead and text. I'm going to send a message to you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. If I don't want to forget, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. May it be a safe and happy one. And also, good shopping on Black Friday.
Is that tomorrow, guys, or when's Thanksgiving?
Thursday. 2 days for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So
28th, yeah.
I wanted to wish it to you guys out there. I know you. I don't know. Do you celebrate anything like a Thanksgiving or comparable to it?
It's like Thanksgiving, literally, giving thanks to what you're grateful for, kind of scenario. That's
basically what Gerald's asking was, did the Pilgrims in Australia jack the Indians after dinner?
The indigenous, the indigenous individuals there.
Yes. There was some jacking.
The Aborigines, right? That's right. So
I think you call it forced jacking. So, there's no Thanksgiving here. Yeah, let's move on.
Soon, by the way, I don't think it was too soon.
I know you celebrate Halloween because I had discussions on more than one occasion with people from Australia before.
Yeah, it's a popular
started this
holiday
channel.
now.
Yeah.
Wasn't growing up for me, but it is with the kids now. But now just quickly, Joe, I won't join you for the post for your nightcap. I think you need time to cook. So I have a great show with
you guys are all welcome.
Yeah, I know, as normal. But just with tonight's game, so who do we play? So we're playing Spurs in 2 days' time, is it, or is it tomorrow?
No, we're playing tomorrow.
Tomorrow, so it's a back-to-back.
Tomorrow, and it's 2 hour difference, which means it's 2 hours earlier, plus the game
tonight.
Is
okay.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Into the fire.
There's no time. They're going to get there late, and they're going to have to be focused to win.
And Jackson Hayes did re-injure his ankle. We'll know more in the morning, just to let.
Was there a bad injury, like an Achilles injury or something that happened that I completely missed? Was that to a player of theirs?
I didn't hear anything about that on their side.
Okay, sorry.
Jackson Hayes did hurt.
He's gotten injured. Yeah.
Well, and then to answer the question in regards to Dalton Connect, I think that JJ said he is going to reevaluate it because, like I've been saying, and a lot of people else have been saying now for days, putting him back on the bench was going to ruin his rhythm, and he did mention that specifically. And he's considering putting him back in the starting lineup, but we'll see how soon that could happen.
And he's got to play more than 17 minutes or 19 minutes, whatever he's played. Like, you're giving 14 minutes to Gabe.
Wasn't that what he said when he was sent back to the bench? Wasn't it? They said that him and the coaches would have to do to find more minutes for him. I think was the wording.
And he's gone the other way. It's been a bit of a strange couple of games for JJ.
And again, Alan and I were arguing, while I was, out and about on playback, and he's arguing, but the defense, oh, that's not a good idea because there's now a growing number of people who want Dalton back in the starting lineup. And I'm saying to myself, what defense? When you're giving up 127, You're not playing any defense. You're literally the way you're winning games is by outscoring the other team. You're
Yeah.
literally just playing better offense on that night against the other teams.
And I
That's
think
how we're going to get done.
defending is slightly overrated in the NBA right now because of the way they shoot the ball. Like, at the end of the day, like you can be a great defender, but shooting like deep threes, it's kind of unguardable. So, defending shouldn't be the priority for us right now because we don't have a great defensive lineup. So we should be looking to score the ball more. That means Dalton comes on. But yeah, very funny decision making, and I honestly thought he was going to start every game for the rest of the year. So let's just see what he does against Spurs. There's got to be room for Dalton to start. Surely. I mean, he's played 17 minutes as a 23-year-old last night.
Jeremy says, is Gabe getting another contract in the NBA? We'll see. He's still got another year on his contract, Jeremy. That's why you just can't easily just trade him because it's not expiring until next season. So if you try to trade him now, you're probably going to have to attach picks to get it done. I know that everybody has been asking about, we need to bring in this guy. We need to waive this guy. We need to let go this. We can't do anything because, again, Rob Pelinka, in his infinite wisdom, has backed the Lakers into a corner financially that's extremely, extremely difficult to get out of. So
that'd make me sick if Gabe got another contract.
No, stay here, Joe. I got it all prepped for you. Okay. So yeah, I got it all prepped for you. I got the intro and everything. So yeah, it's all good, man. But it is of course the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 127-100. By the way, even though the Lakers are 2-1, because of the stupid point differential thing that they instituted for this NBA Cup, the Lakers are most likely not going to get to Las Vegas. The odds are statistically harder for them to go ahead and do so because of the point differential thing, like from today's loss. So that's on top of everything else, which, again, I didn't want them to play that extra game in the first place.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, I think. It would have been good because you could have probably gone to see them. But aside from that,
that's again,
that's trash, man.
Yeah, because last year you saw what that playing all out to win that IST did for them, and it set them back quite a spell. But again, defense, it's really bad at this time. Transition defense, they don't get back. And he keeps talking about it, Joe talks about the rebounding. I saw offensive rebound. This Pheonix is a terrible rebounding team, Joe, yet still finds ways to go ahead and pour it on us. And it was what I saw, they did out rebound as far as from the offensive end, 8-7. They did overall out rebound us 38-35. Just, you see these constantly, the Lakers are out of position. They're always not boxing out. You talk about fundamentals, Joe. It's just not getting done right now. These little things are not being executed right now in the past 3 games, and that's why that's a big reason why they're 0-3.
And that's been the issue for 2 years plus now. Their inability to get rebounds, get defensive rebounds, and allowing the team that they're playing, doesn't matter whether they're good at rebounding or not, to get second and third chances. And then a lot of those chances turn into 3-point shots. So now when you look at the turnaround in points, this is something that I've been trying to pay attention to a lot. Bad decisions lead to major turnarounds. So LeBron, when he decides, like he did today a few times, to take logo threes for no reason, and then the other team goes back and hits a 2 or hits a 3, you're giving the team you're playing against a 5-point play. And if you allow that during a 48-minute game, let's say 9 or 10 times, what happens? You're losing by almost 30.
Yeah.
It's not hard to figure out the math. It's terrible discipline, laziness, and also lack of talent. And then, of course, leadership plays into that too. It's just it's the same script, guys. The reason why the Lakers have been able to make the play-in is because they have AD and LeBron. And then once in a while, you'll get guys like Austin or whomever that can kind of hold their weight. D'Lo held his weight last year, became a Lakers legend from 3. in the second half. Austin played better in the second half. But what does that mean in the end? It doesn't really mean much because they got waxed in the first round, and then before then they made it to the Western Conference Finals and got waxed in a sweep. It's nice that, when I knew things were going wrong when people were holding their hat on, oh, we made it to the Western Conference Finals. When have I ever heard that from a Laker fan base? When you have LeBron and AD on your team and you're talking about how you made it to the Western Conference Finals? Folks, we don't have time for that. This team was constructed to win championships. If they had won one more, we'd probably be all right now. I'd be like, oh, they won 2 championships. There's nothing else we can do. But they've left a lot on the table. Not only them, but also management. They went in reverse, actually. They took the table and flipped it upside down, and they're eating off the legs. That's how stupid they are. So it's not going to work. We're going to be here every day watching this shit, talking about it, repeating ourselves over and over again. Why? Not because we don't have anything else to say. It's because that's exactly what's happening every game. Every game, it's the same shit pretty much 90% of the time. Reddish, another donut. Max Christie, shitty. Gabe Vincent, shitty. Dalton Connect, hitting threes. Well, except JJ decided in the last few games not to start him. The one guy that can shoot on your team, and you decide to take him out. Why? Because veteran leadership. That's what I said on playback.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess up that thing. And that's the hard part about being a coach, too. You don't want to lose the confidence from your vets. I mean, is there anyone on here that's really worth losing confidence?
Yeah.
But it's that old adage, that old mentality. I know you know, Joe, that, and JJ was a player. And this goes back into be that rookie coach just recently of players, that mentality. Rui just got injured. He's going to be coming back in a few games. He better not lose his spot. I can't let him lose his spot because of an injury. It's that mentality that often, that goes to play for these veterans, how, you always have to play a veteran before a rookie. Like we saw earlier this season when Dalton was only getting like 6 to 9 minutes a game. You have to play the veteran first because the veteran's going to be better just because he has a name already established in the league. That's not always the case, but we've seen that. That's not always the case. And now it's like Rui, he comes back. He's got to be back in the starting lineup. He can't lose his spot, even though a lot of people like us saw that this could be the type of thing that's happening as far as the inconsistency with Rui not really meshing well with Cam Reddish, who was already a non-factor on offense out there. That's the case, and Rui's not scoring, and Cam's not scoring. It just makes it harder. And then you guys are all over Austin Reeves. Finally starts having some decent games, but it's always in these, like in the past 2 games, he's been pretty good, but it doesn't matter because the Lakers are getting their ass kicked anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Put a nice button on that, Gerald. Thank you for doing that.
Nicely
Again,
said.
folks, Lakers lose 127-100. They're going to play San Antonio tomorrow night on a short back-to-back. Not only a back-to-back, but a short back-to-back. And they haven't been faring well against even their opponent being on the back end of a back-to-back, which the Spurs will be. They played tonight, and they've won 4 straight, I believe, now?
Yeah.
Okay. Bad news. Bad news, especially if LeBron doesn't play. It is a back-to-back. LeBron looked tired today. Are they going to sit him? There's no
but he's going to play in all 82 games. That's what he said, Joe.
Okay, well, good for him. I hope he's there, and I hope he has a better game, because if the Lakers don't win tomorrow, this thing gets worse. And it'll keep getting worse and keep getting worse, because they're going to go on another long road trip, and they're going to all those happy places I call distractions. It's usually down south. There's a lot of fun places in Miami, folks. Not a lot of fun places in Minnesota, which is equally as bad because now they're bored. And, of course, Utah's even worse. And then after San Antonio, you have Oklahoma City, which are well-equipped to blowing out the Lakers by 30 as well. Then fast forward to after Miami, they got to play in Atlanta. Atlanta's another hot spot. Then come back home to play Portland before they got to go to Sacramento on back-to-back nights. No, back-to-back games in 3 nights and stay in Sacramento. And we all know how fun Sacramento is. And then, of course, come back home to play Detroit before Christmas. So the Lakers can show a lot or not show a lot here between now and December 23rd. We'll be here to guide, counsel, psychiatrize. I know that's not a real word, but I thought it'd be funny to say. We're going to be here. We're going to be here with all the heat and all the cold. And again, I want to thank Mark for being here. Mark,
Thanks, Joey.
This is our first time you and I face to face on the show.
Yeah, loved it.
Looking forward to more. Gerald, every time I think you're not going to, be available,
I didn't think I was going to be here either, but
Mm-hmm.
the in-laws said they were tired after dinner, and I was like,
good. Well, that's
I was like,
good.
yay!
Yay! Now you can come back. Good.
Oh, but then they said, well, hold on. They said, well, we want to go out to this trip, and you complete tour guide tomorrow. I was like,
damn.
Well, I'm gonna let you take this home. I'm gonna go get my rum because I got some stuff for the Nightcap, and y'all gonna want to watch.
Enjoy it.
It's gonna be. I'll talk Lakers, but it's gonna be mainly a Dodgers show because I got some things to say, and it's gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, I'll close this out with Mark. Just let me know when you're ready, Joe. I'm going to get him off screen. Once again, it is the Lakers losing 127-100. Mark, before you head on out, my friend, just wanted to go ahead and say we had said, let's see how this team was. Everybody was on such a high when they were 10-4. Everybody was like, oh, Gerald and Joe, get ready to eat the olives. JJ, coach of the year, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, let's see how this plays out. Let's see what happens when the schedule gets a little tougher. Well, the schedule's gotten a little tougher, my friend, and so far they haven't passed the test.
Yeah, 100%, Gerald. And what's disappointing for me is when we did have that detailed discussion this time last week, or it might have been a day earlier, was the whole Dalton thing. So hopefully we see JJ, right some wrongs and maybe start Dalton tomorrow and just start moving forward with some better decision making. At the end of the day, the roster's not going to change, but that doesn't mean we can't criticize what JJ is doing. And for me, just an obvious thing as an improvement would be for JJ to start and Reddish less minutes. And let's just see, as John said tonight, John made some contentious points about LeBron because he does love him. But what he did say at the start was that we, go into every Lakers game positively and with the hope they'll win. Now, we sometimes we know better, but we'll go in there tomorrow night with that optimism and we'll go from there. But I'm just looking for little signs, Gerald, every time. Didn't see them tonight at all. And
that second half again got outcoached, outclassed, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the players are showing some horrific signs as well. So let's just see, I did just want to quickly say AR, I think the fan base has gone way too hard at the guy. I feel like he's the third best player on our team and he's a draft pick that sort of warrants.
He wasn't a draft pick. He wasn't drafted.
Spot on. Yeah, he's not a drafted player and he's third in the team. So if we're going to go him, let's get our priorities right and start going the right people.
Well, but these are the individuals in many cases that thought he was going to be the next Larry Bird. He's an all-star 2 seasons ago. The sky's the limit, whatnot. And then as soon as he starts to falter a little bit, but now he's had a couple games, but they've come in meaningless games. So that's the problem. He needs to be effective when it matters the most so that maybe he'll turn around some of these ideals. But when it comes to LeBron, when I say he's statistically the best ever 39-year-old, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just telling you what the stats say. No 39-year-old ever in the NBA has had the kind of statistical numbers that he has had. But he is 39 years old, and you see that on the court. You see that at times he doesn't have the lift. You'd see at times where he just doesn't want to play defense. A lot of times, in fact, he doesn't want to play defense. He is every bit of 39 years old at times, but that's what we're going to get when you got a guy taking up $50 million that is in control of the team. That is what it is when it concerns LeBron James. But Mark, it looks like you and I are being kicked out for now.
Yeah, let's go, Joey. Have a great post.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the intro
I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
You don't have to go anywhere, guys, if you want to stay.
All good.
Well, I'm going to go get something to drink and just.
I want you to.
I'll be there. Yeah. But let me go ahead and let's get us off the screen so we can get Joe on the screen.
Tomorrow, though.
You got it, my friend. All the best to you, Mark. Xbox, please go ahead and support him on his Facebook channel. Right there for you, Marquito VR on Facebook. But yes, it is the Lakers losing 127-100. But for now, There's going to be some Dodgers and Lakers talk right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast with Joe Sorrow and the Nightcap coming up right about now.
Oh, I got that in sync. Oh, yeah. So I got my Captain Morgan free pub. They don't pay me, though. But they do take care of me every now and then for these celebratory occasions. So I feel like it's justified that I drink the rum straight up with no mixer because it's been a bittersweet evening. By the way, you are watching the Nightcap on the Lakers Fast Break, and I'm your host, Joe Sorrow. And tonight, you did get a little taste for the post game for the Laker game, but you are going to get a little bit more heat if you can believe it tonight, because I got a bone. I got a bone to pick with all the crying and whining and bitching from all those people after tonight's signing by the LA Dodgers, the world champion LA Dodgers, the 2024 LA Dodgers, and y'all gonna have to start naming the years between now and the end of the decade, because it's gonna be saying LA Dodgers and champion a lot. How many? I don't know, but it's gonna be more than one, and I'll tell you that. Well, right now we're already 2 in. So 2020, when the decade officially started, Dodgers won one, and now they're at number 2 with 2024. So salute to the LA Dodgers. Salute to Blake Snell. Welcome. It's been kind of a while, kind of been a delay, but I'm glad he finally came. And this guy now is going to show you guys when it matters, really. I mean, he did show it in 2020, I won't lie, but he's going to be showing this more and more how great he is. And we're talking possibly Hall of Fame, especially if he adds a couple championships. That's what's at stake. And I believe with all my heart that that discussion happened. I can't prove it, but that discussion happened. I'm with all my heart, Andrew Freeman was sitting there with him, with everybody on that team, saying, Blake, you are a championship away or two, because I believe he'll win more than one, from getting into the Hall of Fame and adding and padding more stats to that already amazing two-time Cy Young award-winning career. So salute to Blake Snell, his agent, Andrew Friedman, again, executive of the freaking world at this point. Almost Jerry West, like, really, I mean, you can't deny it at this point. This guy is running game on everybody and he's winning. If you guys are thinking it's just about money, that's one of the things I'm going to rant about. So salute to the Dodgers. Woo! Rum is smooth. Rum tastes good. So any questions you guys have, go ahead and throw it my way. I'm probably going to be solo the rest of the night. Gerald might come back, but I want to express kind of what's happened here with the LA Dodgers really since kind of like from 2013. 2013 is when the Guggenheims took over. Stan Kasten and Gomi and Freeman came in a little later. Then, of course, Mattingly at the time was the manager, and they ended up hiring Dave Roberts a few years later. This 12-season window has been an amazing run. It's very similar to the Braves run from 1991 to 2005. Now, unfortunate for the Atlanta Braves during that time, they won all those division titles, but they only won one championship. The issue there is they've been called chokers and all that, the Buffalo Bills of baseball, even though they won a championship in 95. But I don't hold a lot against them because they actually ran into one of the best dynasties of our lifetime, which were the Yankees of the late 90s and early 2000s. So it's not like they lost those titles to a bunch of bums. They lost to, at that time, the dynasty of this last, you could say 40 years, There's really no dynasty in the 80s. The Dodgers won the most titles in the 80s, in 81 and 88, but there wasn't really like a dominant team in the 80s. The 90s ended up being the Yankees, and to some degree Atlanta a little bit, but you got to win the World Series for me to call you a dynasty. And then of course in the 70s was a weird decade. Who was the dynasty in the 80s? Well, you had the Pirates who won 2 championships in that decade. You had the Reds who won 2 championships in that decade, and then you had the A's, the Oakland A's, formerly the Oakland A's now. They won 3 straight. Now, does that show any dominance from any one team in the 70s? It's debatable. You had 3 good teams at that point. Yeah, Jeremy, I got rum here. I got Captain Morgan. Good old reliable. So, then you fast forward to the 2000s. Who was the dynasty then? No one. Because the Yankees ended up winning in 2000, lost in 2003, won in 2009. And then was, 1 year was the Sox, 1 year was the Red Sox, one year was the White Sox, 1 year was the Phillies. So, I mean, it wasn't really any dominance in that decade. Then you forward to 2010. You could say to a degree that maybe the Giants were the dynasty of the 2010s because they won 3 championships in 5 years. You have an argument there. And then after that, you had the usual teams. What was it? St. Louis Cardinals 1 year. You had why am I drawing a blank? Kansas City winning it 1 year. They had a pretty good team for a couple of years there. But really, at this point right now, you're probably starting to witness the next dynasty. So between the 60s and now, you've really only had one dominant dynasty that won a lot. And that was the Yankees, the Derek Jeter Yankees. So now I believe this Dodger team is going to do the Shohei, Freeman, Betts. This team is going to be the next one. We have to wait for them to win to make it official, but I believe it's coming. So, let's see. I'm going to answer some of your guys' questions, then I'll get on to the next subject here. Oh, that was a beautiful transition. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Let's see. Where are we here? It's quoting LeBron. John, stop spamming. Who is this clutch talk? Not 1, not 2, not 3. Boy, you guys really love to hammer that in, don't you? Anyways, so for those of you who came on to the Nightcap, I know you're probably used to hearing more Laker talk, but I made it clear beforehand that this is going to be mainly a Dodgers show because of what happened tonight. Tonight, the Dodgers signed Blake Snell, free agent Blake Snell. Let me get the terms of exactly the terms that he has here. 1 second. So they signed Blake Snell to a 5-year, $182 million contract. And my good friend EJ, umpire Jeff, had been talking about the possibility of Blake Snell coming to the Dodgers even as soon as last year. And I wonder a little bit if there was some regret there. Now, I don't know the details of why he didn't, but he didn't. And I think in the long run, it was maybe destined that once he kind of got his market up a little bit more, maybe in San Francisco, that he would be able to maybe get the contract that he eventually wanted to get, which I think he did with LA. Now, Blake didn't start so well at the beginning of the season last year with the Giants, but then pitched very well in the second half. And it's going to be very important for the Dodgers to spread out the love here a little bit because of what's happened the last couple of years with the Dodgers and their pitching staff. This was the second year in a row where they were pretty much fried from almost any usable pitchers. Now, this is before the performances of Yamamoto, Buehler, and then Flaherty that we didn't know because Buehler had a horrible regular season. Yamamoto was out for 3 months from I believe it was a hip or an abdominal situation, and then Flaherty was a trade deadline pickup. I mean, I don't know where the Dodgers would have been if Friedman hadn't gotten him. I mean, they had no one. So they band-aided, they packaged, and they did all they could to make sure that they had something going into the playoffs. And then just by luck, just by fortune, just by whatever sheer will, we were able to witness Flaherty at least be a solid number 3 guy in that group. Buehler became the number 2 based off performance, and of course Yamamoto, I would say if I had to vote, became the kind of the ace during the playoffs. So thank God they were able to get through that, and of course Roberts having probably one of the greatest managerial runs I've ever seen in baseball. What we saw this year in the playoffs was the kind of like the first time ever where we saw bullpens become the starters. Like I don't remember going into every series saying, "Oh, this is going to be a bullpen game," and the way that ended up playing out, even if it was retroactive in a way, because when they won Game 5 in the World Series, that wasn't supposed to be a bullpen game. Jack Flaherty ended up getting killed and being taken out in the second inning, and that was a bullpen win in a lot of ways, with New York obviously kind of shit in the bed, but that bullpen only allowed one more run the rest of the way. So just saying, it was pretty crazy how the Dodgers were able to win a World Series and in a lot of ways dominate the World Series after Game 3 of the NLDS. They lost a couple games to the Mets. They lost a game to the Yankees and had a couple close games. But really, after that NLDS Game 3, they were pretty dominant. They won all their games but 3. And a lot of those games were dominant wins. Definitely the one in the 4 wins in New York in the NLCS. All 4 of their wins against the Mets were blowouts. So props again. I'm still kind of on a high on that. But what I wanted to get to here is the reaction from baseball fans and teams around whining and crying about why the Dodgers all of a sudden are going to buy themselves a World Series. Joe, I'm still new to baseball, but I was hearing LA was getting Soto. Jeremy, I don't think they're going to get Soto, but what they've been trying to do is they're trying a little gamesmanship by making sure that their opponents, their competitive opponents for next year, pay more than they probably would if the Dodgers weren't trying to, do that. So that's kind of where that goes. I don't think Soto's going to be a Dodger. He would have to agree to probably a 3 or 4 year deal where he got a lot more money per year. But the Dodgers are not going to sign him to a 10 or 12-year contract. It's just he's too much of a liability in those years, and I don't think it's smart to take that chance, no matter how good of a hitter he is. I'm also hearing from our good friend Empire Jeff that there's a possibility that there is some talk right now that Teo might be coming back, but we don't know yet 100%. But I would say there's a better chance of Teo coming back, Teoscar Hernandez, that is, than Soto coming to the Dodgers. And I'm okay with that, guys. Again, I don't think the Dodgers need to kill themselves and spend that much money on someone that is good at the bat, but you don't know what's going to happen in the outfield. And you don't want to risk the future, guys. These guys have been so smart doing what they're doing. I'm just going to let Andrew do his thing. Andrew's already knows what he's doing. I trust him, and that's kind of how I look at it. But what I want to get at right now, and I want this live in person, and I want this to be out there forever. So you motherfuckers are sitting there bitching and whining. And I know Giant fans, and I know Padre fans, and I know New York fans, and I know all those small market fans, all bitching and whining about. Guys, 90% of the owners in this league, if not more, are all rich. They all can pay. Don't give me this small market bullshit. San Diego is a small market. Yeah, it might have a lot of in terms of population, but I think they're ranked 19th. How come they're dropping $300 million contracts to Manny Machado or to Fernando Tatis? It's your owner, your team's owner, that decides that they want to pay that money or not. Go ask Pirate fans about that too. How their owner has money. He doesn't want to spend any money. Don't come yapping at Dodger fans because your team won't spend the money. Stop supporting the team then. If it bothers you so much, why are you throwing it at a team that is trying to win? And they won a world championship without a starter, barely a starter going into the playoffs. So what are you going to say now? Oh, it's all about money? We won a World Series because Ohtani didn't do anything. He couldn't do anything after game 2. Now what? So what's your excuse? We had all starters at some point injured in 2024, and yet they still won. So what is that money doing for those guys? And more than that, and this is what I'm going to come with. So I'm going to take a little drink, and I'm going to bring back some real good stuff for y'all. For those of you in the know. So you motherfuckers sat here tonight and bitched about how the Dodgers are winning based off money and how they're trying to buy a championship and they're doing all this bullshit. Where were you motherfuckers in 2017 and 2018 when legacies were affected and banners were taken away? And not only that, iconic stuff taken away too. Where were you there? Oh, you were in the stands yelling at Houston players. Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal. Remember that. You know what the Dodgers were doing? You know what the Dodgers have done since then? They put their hats back on and they played their asses off. They let it go. Yeah, it bothered them. Yeah, they did interviews where they shit on Houston, but they let it go. And they shouldn't have. I've never let it go. You caught that stuff cost Kershaw even bigger legacies. Who knows what would have happened with Clayton Kershaw if he's allowed to win that series in the World Series. He was on his way to win an MVP in that series. He was so good. And he got cheated. And Max Muncy got cheated of another title. And Bellinger got cheated of another title. And Justin Turner got cheated out of another title. And Roberts got cheated out of another title. We as fans got cheated. We got cheated twice. And no one talks about that. No, you talk about how we have an organization that's aggressive and winning, and you have one of the best dugouts, one of the best relationships with players, management, middle management, ownership. You don't hear any of that. All you hear is, oh, they're just throwing money at it. The Yankees have been throwing money at players since their loss in 2001 against the Diamondbacks. They've won one championship since then. One. Because Steinbrenner went nuts when they lost in 01. Wanted to go get Giambi, wanted to get Giambi's brother. He wanted to get every Giambi that ever lived that could throw, that could hit 40 home runs and 120 RBIs. Now what? What did that money do for 23 years? By the way, the Yankees had the highest payroll this year, guys. $300 million. What did it do for them? Nothing. So, I wanted to really lay into y'all, but I think I'm getting happy now that I had a few drinks. So I'm going to have to let some questioning maybe come in, and then maybe I'll get heated a little bit. Maybe somebody talking shit. I'm not saying to do that, but seriously, come on. Are you all going to really do this? Is that the loser mentality that you want to have? Padre fans, you had the Dodgers in the corner, bloodied and ready to get knocked out. And what happened? What happened? You got rope-a-doped. For those of you who don't know what that is, Foreman versus Ali, rope-a-dope. Foreman basically punching Ali for 7 rounds until finally Foreman got tired and Ali knocked him out. That's what happened to the Padres. And y'all should know that was your fault. Sitting there wagging your tongues. Manny thinking he's some tough guy trying to act like he's going to go fight Jack Flaherty. By the way, Jack Flaherty is the size of a house. I can only wish to see something like that. I think Jack would have put him in the trash can before he even knew he was in a trash can. So all that talking shit. Oh, and also throwing a ball at Roberts in the dugout. So all that stuff reaped what you sowed. And what you sowed was 24 innings of doing dick. So live with that. because you guys all have a high payroll too. You all have a high payroll too, motherfuckers. You all have high payrolls too. You're paying two guys $300 million. You had Soto last year too, on top of that. So they'll sit there and say they're trying to buy a championship. You were trying to buy a championship too. Just because you're in San Diego doesn't mean you don't have the money. And look, you spent it, and you continue to spend it. And you had Blake Snell too. Still couldn't win. We got screwed in 2017 and 2018. No one said shit. No one. Manfred didn't do anything about it. He gave immunity to those pieces of shit in Houston. Joey Cora. Proof he cheated and what? Oh, well, he didn't cheat in the World Series. Oh, really? Is that what it was? No. What was it? I'm paraphrasing, of course. Well, we have evidence that they cheated, but it's okay. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. So, yeah. So, y'all can keep yapping about, because it's always an excuse. Losers always have an excuse. See, in Dodgerland, when we lost, except for 17 and 18, I always blamed our guys. I didn't sit there and blame Rendon. I didn't sit there and blame who else? Who else would it have been? Who? Manny Machado? Tatis? Tyler Anderson? Who? Always blamed our guys, because in the end, credibility comes down to making the right calls when you're supposed to. Now, the difference between my biggest blame, I was blaming Roberts for years because I think he went too analytical. And this is the year he didn't. And look what happened. Pretty amazing, isn't it? We sitting here, we're supposed to be bums, sitting on a couch, playing with ourselves, not knowing anything about the game, right? So what happens this year? Roberts does the opposite of analytics. He starts to bunt and gets scores and gets runs in pivotal games. He leaves Walker Buehler in to face more batters when normally he would take them out. Did the same thing to Blake Triton in Game 5. Guys, it's still sports at the end of the day. The computer can help you a little bit, maybe a lot, but it can't help you with everything. Sometimes you got to be able to get the pulse of what you're working on and make the call then. And Roberts did that, and he did it over and over again. And he had, in my opinion, the greatest managerial in my lifetime, managerial run in the playoffs I've ever seen. And that's a fact. And that goes back to what I was saying on the post game. Things change, folks, positive or negative. If you're doing things right and then it goes negative, it's still bad. Just because you did something in the past doesn't mean I can't criticize you now. We're talking about now. I'm not thinking about the past. Sure, you give them a little bit of credit if it's a short window, but after a while, if it's always bad, you got to start thinking about, well, this isn't my career. I'm a fan. I'm loyal to the team. I'm not loyal to statistics of a player or a coach or a manager. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not sitting there going, hey, I want this person to go to the Hall of Fame. He's my favorite thing to go to the Hall of Fame. I'm a sports team guy. I care about the team winning. And then, of course, there's the reverse. I was hounding Roberts. I was upset with Roberts for years for not going with his guts sometimes and just rolling with his damn numbers and analytics. He doesn't do it this year, and look what happened. Now what? Were we wrong? Were we armchair pitchers, quarterbacks? What do you think, Gerald? Was I harsh on Roberts? Am I being a prisoner in the moment because he won?
Well, I'll just tell you what. When you first started giving him compliments, I seriously could talk to my wife, and I considered actually driving to 330 miles down to see you just to make sure that, Joe, are you okay? Did you need some help, my friend? You're acting really strangely, because you were passing compliments, something you've never did during the entire time I known you on Dave Roberts. But we see Dave Roberts, I think this was his best coaching run. I could see the moves he made yes, I already know he won a championship, but I just think that I think was more based off talent. This was a lot based off of circumstance, a lot based off of timing, and a lot based off of good coaching by him, Joe. I think this was more a how should I say? This was more based off of skill that was shown off by the manager in making sure that the pieces were right in place for this time around than the last time he won it. Because the last time he won it, I think it was more about having the right talent already there. They had injuries, Joe, just like everyone else. They had their their injuries to their pitching staff was depleted, yet he still found a way to get that title, Joe. And I think you were rightly deserved in giving him the credit for it.
I have no reason to dislike anyone when they're doing what they're supposed to do. Sometimes things don't work. And it's obvious when it doesn't work. And then it's not just the Dodger fan base, it's any fan base. You know, I'll use the Yankees for an example. So Nestor Cortez comes in game one. And at the time, he hadn't pitched in a month. But he's facing the most dangerous hitter on the planet. The most dangerous hitter on the planet who has somebody in scoring position in which he has destroyed for a while at this point. He was batting like 700 with men in scoring position. So here's where I get irritated, and I don't want to be bunched into this side of things. So Yankee fans are yelling at Brett Boone for bringing in Nestor, and he gets out Shohei in one pitch. But then he serves the home run to Freeman, and all of a sudden it's a bad call. We should have had Tim Hill in. How the hell do you know Tim Hill wouldn't have served? First of all, I have much more credibility in telling anyone that it wouldn't have mattered who pitched in that moment. Freeman was going to knock that sucker out. Whether you had Tim Hill in there, whether you had Nestor in there, whether you had Bob Gibson in there, Freddie Freeman showed you all for 5 games that he owned you. It wasn't just that moment and they threw a pitcher out that shouldn't have been pitching. He was raking against everyone, anyone who was breathing. You had fans in New York with signs saying, Freddie, please stop. When the hell have you ever seen that? It was one of the most dominant performances by a singular player in a series ever. 12 RBIs in 5 games. The record was 12. But the other guy who tied played 7 games. Freddie did it in 5. And the only reason why he got that one run, that one win, was that it was a bullpen session.
Let me ask you this real quick so I don't forget. Sasaki, if they sign him, do you really need to start Ohtani as a pitcher? Do you really need to utilize him as a pitcher? I'm only looking out for you guys as far as Dodgers fans are concerned because Sasaki, if he comes in there, that's a lot of arms, Joe, and I'm not sure you really need to tell Ohtani. I mean, if Ohtani wants to do it, Ohtani's going to do it, just like LeBron. But do you really need to go ahead and start?
Yes, because I believe when Ohtani is a Cy Young candidate, and there was some discussion I had with some friends. If Shohei wins a Cy Young next year, it's over. Like, the argument is done. He's the greatest baseball player that ever lived. Now, as far as him not being able to make it, right? That's what you're probably worried about.
Yeah.
Well, the Dodgers have, Mark Pryor was interviewed, I think it was last week, and he had been discussing what we've been discussing in terms of having a 6-man rotation. I talked to Empire Jeff about this, and I think it's something that, based off of what we saw in this playoff, there's something that's going to change in baseball soon. I think the 5-man pitching rotation is going to go in the future. I believe that's going to be something that happens because we can blame a lot of things on kind of softness. I think in the NBA there's validity to that, but I think in baseball there's a legitimate reason why these pitchers are getting hurt. So it's a combination of a few things. Number one, pitchers are throwing harder and faster with movement than ever before, which puts a lot more stress on the arm. And in the last few years, the Major League Baseball has been very, very, very diligent in making sure you're not putting any substances on that ball. So the drier that ball is, the harder it is to throw. Then they topped it off with the pitching clock. Now you have pitchers that are throwing that ball that's not, substanced, and you're giving them a short amount of time in between pitches. Now you're adding those three stresses all at once, and this is becoming a problem now. Guys, Nolan Ryan was a freak back in the day when he threw the ball 101 mile an hour, right? You have guys right now throwing 101,
105.
105 tops, but I'm talking about in a game consistently. Yeah. Nolan Ryan wasn't throwing 101 for 150 pitches. No one's pitching that much anymore these days anyways. But you also have data. You also have players right now that know where the ball is going based off data. So it makes it much harder to pitch the way you want to pitch without getting hurt and shelled. That's why every time you get to the third at bat, you become weaker. So I believe that Major League Baseball is going to have to do a couple things, though. They're going to have to expand the rosters to make this work, obviously. And then I believe they're going to have to add another day, add another pitcher, so that pitchers are pitching essentially once a week instead of.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the last thing you heard?
I think you were coming. You didn't leave very much as far as what you were saying, because as far as the pitching staff, because that's what you were focusing on.
Yeah. So I think the league is. I'm assuming that the league's going to probably start thinking about possibly going to a 6-man rotation, but I think they're going to need to expand the rosters, because it's just if they're going to allow this much stress. And they're gonna keep the clocks and not letting them have a little bit of something on a ball. This is the way to go. They're gonna have to pitch less. Prior, Jeff had mentioned 2 starters per game as well. I don't know how that would work, but they each pitch 4 innings.
And we're out of the Dodgers are out of the Soto sweepstakes, correct?
The only way they get Soto is if for some reason no team is giving him a 10, 12, 14-year deal for $600 million. My guess, because the offers came in, I believe it was Toronto, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, and I can't remember if it was the Red Sox or whomever.
The Angels should be just in this just because, you and I just
yeah, no chance. But the Dodgers made an offer, reportedly made an offer. So if they made an offer, our guess is they're offering a higher salary at a lesser commitment in terms of years. So let's say they gave him a 4-year deal at 60. So 4-year, 240. That's a safer bet for the Dodgers, and he gets paid $60 million a year. Now, he had been offered a $440 million contract for 15 years by the Washington Nationals a few years back. That would have come out to just under $30 million a year, and he turned that down. So what's likely to happen is he's probably going to want that 600 number. I don't think he's going to get 700 unless, let's say, the Mets offer him. I think the early reports was 680. I don't know if I believe that, though. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be. Steve Cohen is a very rich man. I wouldn't be surprised, but 680 is kind of a lot for a one-way player. See, at least with Ohtani can pitch, right? And he can steal bases, and he's a freak. He can do anything. Soto's just a really, really, really amazing hitter. And then everything else is kind of like, eh. Doesn't really steal bases. Doesn't really field that well. It's not really a locker room enhancer. He's very kind of aloof in a lot of ways with a little bit of a personality because of how kind of arrogant he is. So those things go a long way in terms of value in my book. Ohtani is not only probably the best athlete in sports right now, but he's also really, really cool.
Seven Grand says, what if Dodgers get Soto and Sasaki and bring Flattery back? They might cancel the season, just give the trophy to the Dodgers and call it a day.
Well, let's throw the hypotheticals here. If the Dodgers get Soto, you're talking about, I don't think even murderer's row is the correct term. It's almost now it's serial killer row. How are you going to work around Ohtani, Betts, Soto, and Freeman? Because I'm going to take a guess that if they did sign Soto, they're probably not bringing Teoscar Hernandez back.
Which I know that EJ really wants Teo back.
Oh, we all want Teo back. And the reality is that's the reality.
Teo's going to cash in. I just have
Teo wants to be a Dodger. Teo knows what's coming, and the Dodgers want Teo.
But he might. I think. Well, he's mid-30s, right?
He's 32, I think.
Okay. Well, this is his chance to cash in. So don't be surprised if he gets a bigger deal somewhere else. I just said don't be surprised. I didn't say it was yes or no.
Again, the teams that would want him, I think Boston's probably the biggest one out of the group that would want him.
Don't be surprised if they throw 5 years at him.
Yeah, but Boston's been a disaster here.
Just to overpay. I didn't say it was fair. I'm just saying overpay. You know, because coming off the World Series, you've seen that before, Joe, where they win the championship. Their player that contributed heavily during the playoffs. Other teams get the Angels have fallen in love with that before, where they just overpay for someone big time just to, because he has that pedigree. And I'm not saying Teo isn't worth it. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I would like to see Teo back, but don't be surprised if there's somebody goes on an overpay.
In the same way Ohtani is valuable off the field, Teo is the same on his. I mean, I can't explain the chemistry that Teo had with this team. And Ohtani and Teo, their personalities within the team and just the overall love that they had together. I mean, you can't put a price to that. You just can't. It is. I would say this. Che is making a good point. If it's between Soto and signing Teo, Buehler, Kike, and Triton, although I think if they get Roki, I just don't think they're going to bring back Buehler. I think Buehler is going to be gone. But if we can, we don't get Soto, Teo's definitely coming back. I have no doubt there. And then now it's, can you get Kike and Triton back? Kike and Triton are, whoo, these guys are vital, I think, when it matters. And I would trade. If somebody came and said, okay, you have a chance to get Soto or keep Teo, Kike, and Triton, because I don't think they're going to bring back Buehler unless he takes a really low number. I would pick Kike, Teo, and Triton over Soto, especially with bringing in Snell and getting Roki. You're set. You're set. You don't really have to worry about anything. And they're going to extend Edman. And Andrew Friedman's been trying to get Edman for years. He ain't going to let that guy go anywhere. That guy is essentially Chris Taylor with better skills, better hitting skills. Imagine that. The small things that I'm kind of curious about is what are they going to do with Gavin Lux? What are they going to do with guys like Chris Taylor? Are they going to trade them? Those are the type of things that I think are going to kind of say a little bit more about where the Dodgers are going to go in the end here. But they're in good shape either way. Getting Snell was huge, Gerald. Absolutely huge.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And Snell is a stud, and Snell with the run support of this team, And the fact that he's the only like ace like lefty, oh my God. Snell is playing for a Hall of Fame career the next 2 seasons. If Snell comes in and wins the World Series next year, and he's an integral part of that run, hell, let's say he ends up winning. It's hard for a pitcher to win an MVP because they don't pitch as long anymore. But let's just say he wins an MVP in one of the series where it's, he's dominant. He pitches to the 8th inning in 2 games and they sweep, right? I'm just throwing that out there. He wins a championship, wins a NLCS MVP, a World Series MVP, whatever. He's going to the Hall of Fame. And I'm positive that was the discussion. That was the discussion that Andrew Friedman, Caston, Gomez, all those guys had with Blake. Because right now, he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, but I'm still asking if he's a Hall of Famer. He wins a championship, maybe wins a playoff MVP. Now that discussion becomes more, I think he's a Hall of Famer, but we don't know if he's going to be first ballot. That's going to be the discussion. That's exciting because now he's got something to play for, right? Plus, he got all his money. Plus, he's going to be around this kind of environment. Plus, his boy Glass now is there. I swear, the Dodgers just keep getting all the ex-Tampa Bay Rays guys. Friedman, Glass now, Snell.
Tells you how cheap they are, and as far as the Tampa Bay Rays are concerned.
Well, it's unfortunate. I have so much respect for the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Look how competitive they were up until this year, all these years, and all these pussies, and they're whining about payrolls. How come Tampa Bay was able to do it? If they didn't run into a juggernaut like the Dodgers, people forget in 2020, the Dodgers had a 700 winning clip in 60 games. They were the best team in that regular season, and they went on and had the longest run playoff in the history of baseball. They had to win 1, 2, 5, 9, and 13 games to win a championship. With no home field in the middle of Texas. So Tampa Bay took that team to 6. I am comfortable in saying this. Had Atlanta closed out the Dodgers in that series and not choked away a 3-1 lead, I fully believe that Tampa Bay would have won the World Series in 2020. But the Dodgers had something else. They had something else that year that was able to get them over the hump, and they did it. And really, Kevin Cash, let's be honest. Kevin Cash really screwed up by taking Snell out in the 6th inning in that game. He was raking, and I want to tip my hat off to him because he basically gave the Dodgers the World Series, much like how the New York Yankees gave the World Series to the Dodgers in Game 5. So, again, salute to both teams because it's been a good decade so far.
Well, it's been a good decade for us. We just went over 1,200 audio episodes. We have more video episodes, but we've got 1,200 audio episodes. So I want to thank all of our audio listeners listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for doing that, just hanging with us all these years. Joe's got a game that you need to buy tomorrow here in 12 minutes. Well, actually, it's a little bit later on, I guess, in Wednesday. But yes, Corrupt, Coreupt on Steam. Please don't forget that. If you really want to help out Joe, go ahead and support his game that he's helping to finance. Help make a young man who's been working really hard on this game, his dreams come true by making Corrupt a success on Steam.
Yes, it's happening. It'll be available tomorrow on apparently one of the most popular day for Steam in terms of purchasing. So
Steam sale day.
We want to thank Steam for letting us know that we were going to launch last Friday because we've been told launching games on Friday are the best days to launch except for this particular day. So we held off so that we can get the maximum value here. And folks, we have over a 10,000 person wish list. We have full confidence that most of those people will be buying, but I think the word of mouth is going to carry this at the beginning, and then as things progress, there'll be more marketing into this, and then of course there'll be more sales. But it also could be an avalanche. The word of mouth could blow it up so much that we end up selling 500,000 units in a month, and now it's over. At that point, it's over. The big companies are already kind of. We've talked to some big companies, and they're already kind of waiting to see what this is. And as soon as they see any momentum, any kind of metric that matches what they deem worthy of investment, then it's us sitting at the table with all the leverage, because we're the ones that developed this. We're the ones that were able to get the resources to create it. They haven't spent anything. They're going to basically ride the wave that's already moving. And that's a very rare position to be in, especially in anything in the entertainment business, because most people are broke. Most people don't have the means to find the resources to execute anything that's speculative, like a video game or a movie or a TV show, whatever. So we're very excited, and we feel very confident that people are going to love the game, even though it's a niche genre. But there's already been evidence that there's people out there that have a lot of influence in that world that have already complimented it greatly.
Well, tomorrow you get to do it without me, because I can't avoid being a tour guide 2 days in a row. So I do have to be the tour guide tomorrow.
One problem.
Much to my chagrin. Much to my chagrin.
One problem for tomorrow. I'm traveling to Arizona.
Uh-oh. All right.
So we're gonna have to figure out how to make that work.
I'll do my best. We'll figure out during the day. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can coordinate. Maybe I can play tour guide earlier in the day, or just during the game on playback. And then Mark, if you and Cool Bro and Henry and Laker Nick and John Costa can come in for the clutch save for playback, I'll see what I could do to try and get the nightcap. I'll try and work out a deal and whatnot. See if I can go ahead and work out. But yes, it is tomorrow. San Antonio. Yes, they did play tonight against Utah. They did beat Utah. So they have virtually the same record, I believe, as the Lakers at this point in time. Let's take a look at the standings before we head on out. Heading into tomorrow night's game. Lakers fall down to 6th place. They're now tied with the Phoenix Suns. They fall below the Memphis Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, and OKC Thunder. They're just ahead of the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, and the Spurs. So if the Lakers lose tomorrow, they'll fall all the way to 10th place in the Western Conference, Joe.
Oh boy.
I don't want to say we told you so, because we don't want to say that, because
it's not looking good, folks. We're gonna get evidence here soon enough. I don't know where to go other than to try our best to enjoy the games and see the results and discuss them as we see fit. That's where we're at. Tonight's game was really the real game where you kind of saw what the Lakers really are. Maybe you could sit there and say the Orlando was a fluke game if they just made a free throw. Okay. You could say that Denver kind of owns them, and that's kind of how that goes. Okay. But this one was unacceptable. You're always competitive with Phoenix, even when you are in Phoenix, and you got run out by Bradley Beal and a old Kevin Durant, even though he's still effective.
Nurkic, man. Nurkic.
And Nurkic looked like every big that AD seems to play against. AD's looking really bad. Even John, God bless him. I know he got hot tonight, and I liked seeing it because I hadn't seen him like that before. But Johnny, if you're listening, AD had 25 points and 15 rebounds tonight. What did it mean? It would mean something if it won. I think that was his response. But that seems like a cop-out to me. Magic used to score 13 points sometimes and dominate a game. I'm not asking AD to be Magic. I'm just saying stats. If you're gonna hold, if you're a fan of a team and you're gonna hold up stats as your trophy when the team isn't supposed to be what it's supposed to be, that this doesn't work. You're not, that's a singular individual thing. That's a LeBron or a coach. Like, that's the individual players kind of I can hold my hat on. That's for a team fan. I don't care about that. I don't care that someone is the all-time leading scorer, really, in the end. What do we talk about more about than anything on this thing is the damn Celtics have 18 and the Lakers have 17. That, if you want to talk about that statistic, then that makes sense. But doesn't matter. But again, I talked more baseball, and I was able to bring some of Empire Jeff's crowd in here, and that was a huge success. Thank you, Aaron, again. Thank you for being here, brother. You've been a support since I was doing shows, or will continue to do shows with EJ. EJ had to crash out. He was going to come here originally. He's 2 hours ahead of us. So I just told him, hey, man, just crap out tonight. Do your thing, and we'll talk more when you get back into town next week, as I will, because I'll be gone all weekend. But I want to thank everyone for being here at the Lakers Nightcap. This is very delicious tonight. I had it straight up. And I thought I was going to go a little bit hotter on my 2017, 2018 screw jobs, but then I realized, you know what? I think you all know where I'm sitting on that one. I think some of you have heard me talk about it. And you all have heard me say things about the people who yap, the losers. And I want that to resonate. Maybe screaming and being angry isn't going to really set in as well as me just saying, when someone continues to make excuses for why their team or their luck or their whatever stinks, don't be afraid to call those guys out for being exactly who they are. Don't be afraid. Let them know who they are. And especially when they have the means, or their support, whatever team they're supporting has the means. Look at the mirror. Yell at them. Don't yell at the people that are trying to win, that are not greedy. See, you hear about they're just greedy. Oh, they're just greedy. And then when they're not greedy, all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're gambling. Oh, well, there was no proof that there was gambling. So he paid somebody off. They paid the FBI off. You think the FBI cares about Shohei Ohtani and Major League Baseball? These guys took down mafia crews for decades. They were supposed to be paid off. Who could pay off people more than organized crime? But no, there's always some excuse. There's always some bullshit that people got to pull out of their ass to make that excuse on why their teams suck, or why they're not feeling good, or why they're not happy. Those people need to be called out, and they need to be pointed at and laughed at and told who they are. Because maybe no one's telling them who they are. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to put a button on this. The Dodgers are going to make the Yankees of the late 90s look like chumps when this is all said and done. And you can quote me at 11:58 p.m. on November 26th, 2024. Quote me on it.
It's funny because I'm just looking at Twitter real quick for updates on the Lakers, and I see this one for the Dodgers. This was the year to finish off the Dodgers. It's from Dookie Betts. They let the boys get hot and win a ring. Now they signed Blake Snell, offered Juan Soto a contract, and Roki Sasaki is now most likely on the way as well. MLB desperately needed a dynasty. Now they finally have one.
They definitely needed a dynasty when this playoff run was, I believe one of our patrons on here said it, the most parodied competitive playoff run in a long time. The Royals, the Indians, the Padres. The Padres, I believe, are 19th. They're 19th market. I don't know what the hell Kansas City is. 25? What's Cleveland? They were pretty competitive. They're pretty competitive. So, in the end, excuses, excuses, excuses. In the end, it doesn't matter. Just like how they try to discredit 2020. Folks, they all played the same way. They all had the same rules. So, keep making excuses. Keep whining. And you're going to be watching the Dodgers win their 9th championship, their 10th championship, their 11th championship, maybe their 12th championship. I'd like them to get to 12 because I want them to have the best. I want them to have the top spot in National League history. Right now, the St. Louis Cardinals have 11. And the Dodgers have never repeated in their history. They've been around since 1887. Now, Major League Baseball, technically, between the AL and NL didn't start till 1903. That was the first year of the World Series. So you can kind of go off that in terms of the current setup, kind of like when the Super Bowl started. Although I don't like to do that either because I think the NFL championship matter. I count those for the Cleveland Browns and the Packers and the Bears and the Lions of those past years. But really, it's that 1903 is when everything kind of became what is known now as the AL NL playing for the World Championship. So since 1903, the Dodgers have never repeated as world champions. They got close in 63 and 65. They won in 63 and 65. They probably should have won in 17. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They should have won in 17 and 18 if those cheating assholes weren't doing what they were doing. But I feel very strongly right now that should they wrap this up a few more ways here in the offseason, I see the Dodgers finally breaking that and winning the championship in 2025. And I am going to watch every Dodger game this coming year for the first time in my entire life. It's very hard to watch all 162. I got close in 2022. I think I watched 140 games. So I'm going to make it I might have to do a show now at this point, Gerald. I might have to have a Dodger show next year like you wanted.
All right. But it is, of course.
And I'm hoping, maybe Corrupt allows me to do that. If I have resources coming from Corrupt, I'll have more time. I won't have to be dedicated to the turf thing. I'll still have the turf thing, but I could delegate it much easier to someone and allow them to kind of manage things as I kind of stand back and let them do their business. So again, 2025, we're crossing our fingers for the advancement there, because what happens with all the extracurricular stuff I'm doing, it's only going to make our show better because I'll have more resources to throw at it, more marketing, more visibility, and everyone else here is going to benefit from it as well. So with that, again, thank you all for being here tonight for the post game for the Lakers. Sorry you have to watch a sorry game by a sorry team, but we're going to be here because we're the fans. We're masochistic. We're lyrical souls. We're here in the good and the bad. And of course, being here for the Nightcap and talking Dodgers, talking LA sports in general. I don't know what my participation will be for the rest of the week, but I'll try to keep you guys informed as we go. Please enjoy your holiday, enjoy family. I know I will. Plus, I'm going to be going to a 50-year birthday party on Friday, which is why I'm not going to be available after Thanksgiving. And I know my cousins are not going to want to let me leave, so we'll enjoy it. And again, I'll try to chime in every now and then, maybe mobile. I'll let you know, Gerald. Until then, have a good holiday, have a good day, have a good night, and until next time, we'll see you next time.
Hold on.